Welcome to this week's edition of the Swider Insider. I'm your host, Rusty Lindsay, joined as we are each week with head football coach Mike Swider. Coach, your team comes off a 40-15 victory against an Elmhurst team that put up a pretty good fight there for a while. We talked a lot about that chaos defense that they ran and kind of gave you fits in the second half, or all the way really through the second half until the dam just broke on them in the fourth quarter, and you guys kind of wore them down, and then a couple of big plays late kind of spread the thing out.
Yeah, it was, I think a number of things. I think we responded to the heat a little bit better. I think the heat wore them down. I think us running the football a ton wore them down. I think our size wore them down a little bit. I think the fact that we were in white jerseys, they were in dark jerseys, wore them down a little bit. There was an advantage we had. We had the white jerseys on. We were lucky there. But yeah, and I think early on we probably we struggled with our exchange with the quarterback, whether it was under the center or in a shotgun position. Obviously some of that probably had to do with a new kid in there, and some of it had to do with the ball was wet. He's a big sweater, and he was snapping a ball back there that was a little slick. So I think we finally got a hold of ourselves a little bit, and then wore them down, and ultimately I think we sort of got into a groove.
Yeah, watching just the way the pregame unfolded from our vantage point, Elmhurst comes out early. They have full pads on already, and they're going through the motions. And then you guys take your time coming out. You've got the pads off until you really have to, and then you really looked, at least to us, that you kind of shortened the pregame. You guys really took every step you could to kind of limit the effect of the heat there.
No doubt. I'll tell you something, Rusty. People don't realize that. We wonder what we do in our staff meetings all day long, but we had a plan for pregame. It was planned out. We came out later. We went in earlier. We didn't have pads on to start it. We shortened the periods out there, and no question that we weren't gonna empty the gas tank before the gun went off.
Yeah, and this was a little bit different. We had talked probably leading into the Carthage game. It all of a sudden got hot for the weekend. You guys had a week to prepare for this as well, and just sweltering heat. We talk about it being a pretty good fall. That's a hot summer week there, because that was extreme heat we had all week.
It was 95. The temperature in Elmhurst, Illinois was 95. The temperature on that field was 108. And we didn't have a day in training camp that hot. And normally you'll get some August days like that, but we didn't have a day in training camp that hot. So the last time we were like that was at Co a few years back when it got ugly. So we knew it was going to be bad, and obviously we had our kids hydrating beginning on Thursday and try to take some things. We really planned it, and I think it helped. We brought 2 extra trainers, double the amount of water bottles. And so what was happening is they were never just having to go fill bottles up. There was 2 extra trainers. All they did was fill bottles. So they could just come get them, rather than come refill. They were just a constant source, and that was great. And we planned, and I think that probably showed a little bit the proactive actions we took too.
Yeah, kind of got to give a game ball to Alan and the training staff there. That's a busy day for them too.
Yeah, absolutely.
And obviously with the heat came the water breaks in the middle of the quarter, and you never really prepare for that. It gets you out of rhythm. They kind of did the game a favor by finding it after a touchdown in the fourth quarter, but it felt like, yes, they're a good idea. It felt like they almost went a little too long. There's a lot of standing around in the heat, almost doing more damage than just get them water and get them back on the field.
Absolutely. 5 minutes is too much. No doubt about it, Rusty. That's going to have to be something that's revisited. I'm totally for giving the kids a break when the temperature gets above X, whatever the trainers and doctors say. No doubt about it. But once you give them their water, you're right, just standing there and sitting in it, it just didn't feel good to me. And so I'm all for the breaks, but just shorten them.
Probably didn't feel good to anybody outside of two less down there. You guys almost, and we talked about it, we didn't want to affect the game in any way. It almost felt like you kind of took advantage of the first one, because you come out with the big play for the touchdown right afterwards, when, like you said, everyone got the water, and all of a sudden there's still 3 minutes left to stand around, and all of a sudden you hit him with the big play, and the game kind of turned on its head there.
Right, exactly. And you just don't know how kids are going to respond after that. You just don't. And bottom line, too long.
You mentioned the snap frustrations. A lot of that coming in the red zone. It took until the fourth quarter when Shola plunged in. I think that was your 6th trip to the red zone before you finally got a touchdown. Did you feel like that frustration kind of built throughout the day, and then you kind of got to breathe easier once you finally punched one in?
Yeah, I mean, it just didn't feel like, even though we were up and everything, it just didn't feel good. You always don't like, it's just, it's like in baseball, Russ, you're a baseball guy, you get runners in scoring position and you're not scoring. You just say to yourself, sooner or later, it's going to bite me and nip me in the arm there. And that's what it felt like. We were getting field goals and we were scoring, but we were leaving points on the board. And you're right, once we got in there one time, it just felt like, whew, okay, we're going to be okay now.
Your defense has obviously been the calling card all year, and they were huge again, causing 4 turnovers. They got, maybe the big one was the interception following the interception, or you forget what the exchange was. I think you fumbled. Maybe they come back and get you a 10-yard field or something. But they were great all day with the takeaways, and that for an Elmhurst team that thinks they're still in the game constantly because the scoreboard says so, really can kill the fight of a team trying to come back.
No doubt about it. Turnovers are just emotional daggers, and our kids did a great job defensively. We gave up one early, and there was a communication mistake on it, but we knew we could get after the quarterback with our front, and ultimately that, I think, to me, that was, again, it was a Carthage game, the same thing. Our defensive front's pretty good.
It really looked like we saw a great step forward from Curtis McWilliams from the Carthage game where he struggled against to this time you saw him get through his reads. I think the biggest one was he was in pressure and had a big third down check down to Jalen Goldsmith in the second half. But just looked like he felt more comfortable in the pocket and got through his progression and looked like he had probably some good film to come back from against Carthage.
Oh, no doubt. You are exactly right, Rusty. I went up to Curdy after the game or on Monday, and I told him I was really, really impressed with him. He drove some balls. He didn't just sort of push them in there. He stepped back and pushed off that back leg and hammered some shots in. And I thought he took that step of saying, "Hey, I belong." He hadn't been a quarterback. He was hurt all last year, had a blood clot in his shoulder, didn't even put pads on. And I think after this game, I just went, he really believes in his heart he belongs now. And that doesn't happen overnight, and I understand that. But you are exactly right. He took a big step forward, which is really good for our football team.
That throw he made to set up the field goal right at the end of the half to Carter Roberts, as good a throw as you might see all year. And Carter Roberts, another guy who had an outstanding training camp. Chase White goes down early in the game. And again, that's a position that's kind of built up some depth over the last year or two, and a couple guys have emerged there. Carter's one of them, leads your team in receiving this week. Oh,
huge. It was a huge throw, and that ball went a long way in the air, too. You don't realize how strong Curdy's arm is. He's got a rocket. He played baseball, he'd probably throw a 90.
You guys, and the total yardage hard to read because they probably got 100 yards just in garbage time. But your defense again shuts the run down. Hernandez had some success early with the run reads and kind of taking off out of the pocket. But your defense looked like it made the necessary adjustment to really make a scrambling quarterback pretty one-dimensional there.
Yeah, and we knew we had we put up goals for the game, and we had to contain the quarterback. That was the number one goal. Is to don't let him beat you with his creativity. And I think we did that. But it's the same old thing, Rusty. It becomes a redundant statement. But if you can win at the line of scrimmage, you're going to win. It's when you get beat up front most of the time. No, it's not all the time. But you're going to be in a football game, and I just think up front we were really, really good physically on defense.
We talked a lot about the series, at least on the broadcast, and even going back a couple years, where this has been a home-dominated series the last probably decade or so with Elmhurst. You guys have now gone in there, won comfortably 2 times in a row. You start to feel like the enigma of Langhorst kind of lifted away, and now you've got guys who just see it as just another road game, and there's not really that what-if factor waiting for you.
Yeah, no doubt about it, and for 2 reasons. We beaten him decently the last 2 times there, and then the other thing, there ain't nobody here when we struggle anymore. Those guys are all gone drinking Kool-Aid right now. So for 2 reasons, you're exactly right. The last 2 times we've gone in there and played well and dominated them, but those other guys They're all worried about their own kids, Pop Warner.
And we'd be obviously remiss if we didn't mention Stephen Canary. I mean, he really picked you up. 4 field goals. That kicking operation has just been outstanding and just smooth throughout the year.
It has been. Our center, people don't realize, John Vargas, his brother Tony played for us. John was a long snapper at Purdue as a freshman and transferred to Wheaton and wanted the experience his brother had. And really, he hammers it back, man. I mean, the velocity is big time. And Steph's been awesome. I mean, 8 for 8, 4 for 4 from extra points and 4 for 4 from field goals. You're right. It kept us in the game. He kept us alive.
Yeah, I mean, because it felt like every time, well, at least we're getting points out of this. And really the one before halftime might have been the biggest one because you had Elmhurst within a score, knowing that they were getting the ball, and then all of a sudden it's a 2-score game.
Exactly. You go in differently.
And it almost looks like, you mentioned Vargas, it looks like the kickers sit there more confidently in pre-snap, just knowing that they don't have to worry about the operation. Him and Adam have been perfect there.
Yeah, they've done great. They've done absolutely great.
You turn the page now, you look at another series that's kind of been home-dominated. Illinois Wesleyan has struggled at McCullough. They beat them 9 straight here, and they're a good team. You come in first top 25 matchup of the year, and just a Titan team. That's kind of what you would expect out of a Normesh group.
No doubt about it. They're well coached. Anytime you have a head coach who's been somewhere a long time, there's that stability promotes consistency, and they're always going to be good. It's just the way it is. They're going to be good. They're always going to be good. They're well coached. They play well. Kids are motivated. They beat a Whitewater team, and they were in a war with North Central. So they're not coming in here lacking confidence. I'll guarantee you that.
Yeah, you mentioned the Whitewater win, and obviously this is not the Whitewater team we're used to seeing. I think it's probably a 5-5 Whitewater team at the end of the year. But just the confidence that comes to knowing you beat them. I mean, that can be a hurdle, just mentally knowing you beat a program like that.
No doubt about it. And I think you translate into the North Central game, where they, when you watch the film of that game, it was 26-14 or something, but it's a football game. That's a well-played football game. So we're not underestimated, I promise you that. This
is a team that's built kind of similar to you guys on the offensive side of the ball. They bring back all 5 guys on the offensive line. They turn over a lot of wide receiver talent, but one thing they're always going to try to run the ball. They've got another big body in the backfield, and then a pretty athletic quarterback once again in Brandon Bauer.
Yeah, Brandon, you know who he reminds me of? Who's that kid at Oklahoma? What's his name?
Baker Mayfield.
He's Baker Mayfield, man. That's who he is. No, I'm not. He's literally Baker Mayfield, but he's that kind of kid. You can just feel he's an inspirational kind of kid. He's tough. He's strong. He'll take a hit. He'll give a hit. You just feel that. And that would be my comparison for the fans out there listening. He's that kind of kid, and he can make it happen. He's the engine, man. He really is. He's the engine behind that football team.
You look at another team that might have one of the best centers in the country, and anytime you're anchored at the middle of the offensive line with a guy like Illinois Wesleyan has in the middle there, it settles the line around him. It kind of settles the quarterback. You pick up coverages better. Are you concerned about that as you game plan for a kid who's been what I think is a 3+ year starter for them in the middle?
Well, we just say, hey, as we look at our opponent, we'll just grade offensive linemen saying this is what to expect. Whether they're at center and everything, I don't think that plays into it as much as just these guys are good at these positions, but the kid's got experience, the whole line's got experience. So what's going to happen is chances of these guys making mental errors or blocking assignment errors because of that center, not so much because he's physically so great, he's the guy that calls everything out. They're going to be set right, and that's the thing that you got to let your kids know. Who's the best physically is the kid's going to get him set. They're going to be in the right protection.
You look at the outside, and all eyes are going to be on number 38, 6'5", biggest target you might see this year, and he's a guy that just a physical presence, 6'5", 200 on the outside. How do you go against that when you're set with some smaller corners now with Tyler on the bench? Yeah, no, he's a good player, and there's no doubt we got some things in the game plan to try to combat that. But he is their guy. There's no doubt about it. I mean, it doesn't take a rocket science to figure out throw it to the big guy. And that's what we all did in the playground. We found the biggest guy, put him on our team, and threw him the ball.
So yeah, we got some things, but he's going to obviously be a point of attention for us.
Do you kind of harken the game plan back a little bit to when they had Artie Caken a couple years ago and just having to worry about that alpha receiver out there?
Yeah, you do. I mean, it's not that the other kids aren't good players, but it's just like anything. It's I keep relying on baseball. You're a baseball guy. It's, hey, if you got to get somebody out and it's 3-2, throw him your best pitch. You don't really worry about him. It's just throw him your best pitch. And so he's our guy, and so you got to try to throw him our best pitch. I mean, he's the guy, and not the other guys aren't any good, but he's got to get our best shot.
You look at them on the defensive side of the ball. They graduated, I think, 6 out of their starting 7, but they moved some returners around. They've got a strong linebacking core, and this is a defense that I think has surprised some people with how well they've gelled together early on.
Yeah. They I think one of their linebackers was in the secondary last year, and they moved him down in there, and sort of like we do with Corey Kennedy a little bit. You take an athletic kid who's a physical kid, he's not bashful, and now you become real athletic, and so they're good. No, they run well. They're well coached. They're not going to be out of position. You're going to have to earn everything you get. So we know what we got there.
There's really been no secret to your offensive identity, and there's really no reason even being bashful about, like you said, because you're a team that has thrived to run the ball. Shoals in the top 20 nationally running, and then you have a game where T.J. Williams announces himself as even your number 3 back. Right. What does that do for your game plan as you get ready for these guys, knowing that you've got 3 backs that you can kind of hammer at them, put them out in the slot, put double running back sets? You can really expand the playbook formationally against a team like this.
No doubt, and we plan to do that. We knew what TJ could do, and the world's starting to see what we knew all along. And so we got 3 kids back there, and then you add the dimension when Spencer comes in. So the other thing that makes it for a good running game, people realize, is tight ends. We got 3 tight ends, man, that can play. So you create an extra gap when you play with 2 of them, and that's who we are, and I think people are going to realize that if they haven't already.
Yeah, you mentioned TJ, and I guess we missed him in the recap there. 2 pretty impressive runs. I mean, we haven't really seen the burst yet, and there it was on the first one where just 2 steps and gone. When you see a guy like that, I mean, is that even something that you've seen in your 30 years here now? I mean, that's a special.
Not that early. You finally see it. Shola will give you shots, and there are other kids in my time here as juniors and seniors. You've seen it. But the thing that's the most impressive is the way he sets blocks up. He's a patient runner, and that's the thing you just don't see at 18 years old. His patience and his ability to let something set up is really extraordinary, Rusty. And there are other talented kids, there are fast kids, but I think that's probably his biggest asset. Now, he is all the other things, but because it doesn't come this early, it just doesn't come this early. So just got to keep the kid healthy.
When you get ready for a game like this with homecoming, you're an alum. You have a very homegrown staff. I mean, is this something that's a little more special to you guys because you all kind of know what this is about at this point? I mean, there's not many staffs in the country that can be as homegrown as this group is.
Well, they love the program, man. They love it, and they've all made sacrifices their own way to be part of this program. And even guys like Ron Harris that didn't play here, his son played here. And, our kicking coach kicked here. And we got guys that just want to help at times. Pete Ittersagen, volunteers, he played here. And so, you are right on so many levels. Mark Jackson, who's coaching, his son played here. So it's homegrown on a lot of levels.
Taylor's sister played here. So even the guys who weren't, they're all connected.
So, Taylor lived right down the block, and I fed him sandwiches growing up all the time, so he's really part of it. So, it's you're right. It's homegrown, and they love it, and there's a passion there, and it's not manufactured. There's a deep belief in the core values of the program.
When you guys take the field on a homecoming game, and obviously you've had a few, does it just feel different? The stands are packed. You've got a lot of familiar faces. I mean, it's just a different energy.
It is. It really is. There's no doubt about it, and that inspires our players, and that'll be important in a game like this to play inspired and to play for that, like we say all the time, play for that cause that's really bigger than yourselves. I see many times that the greatest motivator in the world is love, and I'll just leave you with this. I tell our players this, that why does a guy jump on a hand grenade in a bunker? Does he jump on the hand grenade because he hates his enemy, or does he jump on the hand grenade because he loves his buddies? Do the math. It's about loving your buddies.
Well, Coach, thanks for your time. We get a chance to talk to you after the game, and hopefully we're talking about 5-0 leading into next week down on the road.
Okay, I'm taking your word.
We'll be right back with live pregame coverage leading to a 1 o'clock kickoff as Wheaton hosts Illinois Wesleyan here on WTSN. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Wheaton College here on a beautiful homecoming weekend on the campus here at McCulley Stadium. Alongside Dan Studebaker, Doug Rothschild with Nate Stein down on the field. I'm Rusty Lindsay. Thanks for tuning in to what we should have a great contest for you here. First top 25 matchup of the year for the Thunder, and it comes against the Titans of Illinois Wesleyan, who enter play 3-1 on the year, 1-1 in conference play, and ranked, depending on the poll you use for your information, 19th or 21st. Wheaton 4-5 in the two polls, so still retaining their ranking, and coming off a win against Elmhurst that was sloppy at times, but the running game pulled them out late in the fourth quarter there and pulled away to what looked like a comfortable victory. But this is going to be a whole different test today with the Titans.
It sure is. You got Wesleyan coming in, who is finishing a brutal slate for them, where they play 3 of the top 10 teams in the country over a 5-week period. Whitewater, we all know, they beat them at home to open the season. Then 2 weeks later, they play at North Central and were tied 13-13 at a half before kind of getting North Central came about themselves in the second half, and they ended up winning that game. I think it was 26-14 or 26-13. And that was a game. Look, this is a very good Wesleyan team. They're ranked 19th for a reason. They beat Whitewater, and Whitewater, what we've seen, is not the Whitewater of old, but that's not national championship Whitewater. That's still top 25, I believe, Whitewater. I've seen that game on film. Whitewater's a very good football team, so this will be Wheaton's biggest test of the season to date. This will be the best team they have played. This is an aggressive, physical defense that's very well coached, an aggressive offense that has a playmaking quarterback, a big, tall receiver, and really an underrated running back who's averaging almost 6 yards a carry.
Yeah, and Wheaton is going to get the same treatment that Whitewater got against the IWU. IWU is going to bring guys into the box and make Wheaton make Wheaton try to pass the football, because they know Wheaton wants to come out running, especially after last week. And last week at Elmhurst was, to Rusty's point, it was a game that was sloppy, but it never felt like Wheaton was in jeopardy.
Yeah, Wesleyan comes off an 18-0 victory over North Park last week, where the score looks maybe like they weren't quite where it should be. Again, that's something Wheaton was a little in the same boat with against Elmhurst, but they held North Park to 100 yards of offense. I mean, that was really not as close as that game looked like. And to your point, Doug, you mentioned they were in that game against North Central. Some turnovers and a short field that they gave North Central really cost them a shot to win that game in Naperville.
Yeah, Wesleyan's defense is a real deal. They're physical up front, very athletic at linebacker. Particularly, they moved Brenton Wilkie down from starting safety last year. He's as an outside linebacker, number 17. You'll see him. He's a playmaker. He was first-team All-CCIW defensive back last year, and he started. This will be his third year starting. So he's a playmaker. They're very athletic at linebacker. They come downhill. So what you'll see is they'll line up at 5 or 6 yards behind the ball, and when the ball is snapped, they will attack the line of scrimmage and look for gaps to run through. And so if you're not sound and solid in your blocking schemes, if you don't have good footwork and really have your eyes up, this defense will disrupt you. And they've been very good against the run. Look, Wisconsin Whitewater, which last year averaged 200 yards a game on the ground, rushed the ball for 43 yards against this defense as the number 3 ranked team in the country. That tells you what you need to know about this defense. Wheaton's going to have their hands full.
Yeah, and I think you'll see some. Have the ability to talk to Jesse Scott this week, the offensive coordinator for Wheaton, and you'll see a few additional wrinkles this week with TJ Williams out in the slot to open up the ground game out of there and also get him into space. And you also see some Stone Watson in the slot. And he mentioned that McWilliams is as good a deep ball as he throws. It's difficult for him to get the timing down with a Stone Watson just because of how fast he is. So we talked about it last week. It's good to see here in Game 5 that the offense is still unfolding and you're still seeing playmakers come out, and you'll see some things today if you're at IWU that you've never seen on film yet, at least this year from Wheaton.
Yeah, well, Normash is an aggressive coach. He will come out with an aggressive game plan. He has a playmaking quarterback in Brandon Bauer who's completing almost 60% of his passes. He has 7 touchdowns on just 3 interceptions through the first 3 games. And he's also running the ball. He's run it for quite a bit. He can make plays with his feet and with his arm. He throws a very nice ball, and he's not afraid to throw it into tight coverage. So he's got some courage. This kid, he's a returning starter from last year, Brandon Bauer, and he's the guy they've set their offense around.
Yeah, he's a guy that can hurt you in a lot of ways, and he's very much a similar quarterback to the guy who he's now starting in front of, which is Jack Warner, where they're mobile threats. They're going to be better outside of the pocket, and that's going to be a test where Wheaton last week kind of gave Orlando Hernandez some escape routes in the pocket. Those defensive ends maybe got a little too far upfield at times, and it'll test the aggression of this very talented Wheaton defensive line here this afternoon.
Yeah, they've worked a lot this week, I know, on keeping him in the pocket, and they've got some special pressures. You know, I talked to some of the defensive coaches before the game. They've got a good handle on what Wesleyan's trying to do, particularly what they do in the protection scheme, and they're going to try to bring pressure at key points against tendencies that they have seen, particularly on third down. They have a good feel for where the opportunity is to pressure Brandon Bauer. The key on that pressure, though, when you bring an outside linebacker and you think he's going to come free, the key is for the opposite side defensive end to get upfield and to keep him boxed into the pocket so he can't run away. And then the blitzing linebackers or safeties, whoever they might be, they can't miss. You got to break down, get your feet, because he's an athletic guy. If you come running their full speed expecting to get some kind of knockout hit, chances are more times than not you're going to miss this kid because he's very athletic. He can make you miss, and that's when he can do damage, is getting outside the pocket and getting down the field.
Yeah, and that's something I look for Wesleyan to do today, is to get him on the move intentionally. You know, get him rolling out, getting him certainly rolling away from big number 3 Chase Greenlee. And you know, he is a guy, as you mentioned, he'll beat you with his feet, and the key is if he gets free, he has to get free through the middle, and you have to make plays if you're those D tackles.
As we have the Wheaton Men's Glee Club, as they do every year for homecoming, making their way onto the track. They will sing the national anthem here this afternoon. Great crowd on hand, as you would expect for a homecoming weekend, and you can't ask for any better weather today. Temperatures in the low 70s, just a little bit of a breeze, bright sunshine bathing the McCulley Stadium turf, and it's just a beautiful afternoon for football.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
There you have it, a beautiful rendition of our national anthem by the Wheaton Men's Glee Club here, kicking off the festivities for homecoming weekend here on the campus of Wheaton College. Doug, it's your 30-year reunion. Dan, your 10-year reunion, so certainly a little more special for you guys here, but it's just football. I mean, that's the biggest thing for these guys, is it's a chance to just get out there, and with all the alumni coming back, and it's a chance to kind of get away from that, because Coach Swider will tell you it's great having the alumni back, but his office on Friday during homecoming weekend is just a little bit of a turnstile of alumni in and out, so it's a good chance for these guys to just get back to football and get ready for a very good Illinois Wesleyan team.
Yeah, it's always difficult to just focus on the task at hand week in and week out, but especially homecoming when you have, you know, football chapel last night is packed out, and Coach Swider's, you know, office is a revolving door, and you just have people just wanting to talk to players and wanting to talk to coaches, and now they just have to focus on the task at hand and realize that there's a football game to be played.
Yeah.
You just got to go out and do your job.
Well, I mean, I think there's been a lot of activity, certainly around homecoming as always, and there has been around the program that's been well documented. And I think people just don't understand the amount of preparation and work that goes into the product that you see on the field. These players, these coaches, the preparation to build a program that's ranked in the top 10 in the country kind of annually is an enormous amount of work by a lot of people. It starts in the recruiting process and the off-season workouts, and these kids are working at 5, 6 in the morning in January's in the gyms, and all the things that the team building exercises that they do, the Bible studies, the missions trips that Coach Peltz does. There are so many things that go into this program that make these guys the men that they are and the program that it is, not just the product that everybody sees on Saturdays. And Dan, you and I are products of that, 20 years apart, and we stand here honoring that. And there's hundreds of guys, if not thousands of guys across the country in different places whose lives have been impacted for the positive, and the trajectory of their lives are different because of the impact of Mike Swider, this football team, and this college on their lives. So we get to enjoy a game like this on a beautiful day with a lot of alums and a gorgeous weather. But the amount of work that people have put in to make this what it is today and the lives it's impacted is really staggering and hard to describe.
Yeah, no doubt. I mean, just to see the changes that I experienced and my friends that I graduated with experienced in the 4 years that they were here, and the decisions that they've made in life as a result of the teachings that Coach Swider put forth on us is, football is the microcosm of life. And, to your point about the effort, I mean, Wheaton has played Wesleyan for 50 or 60 years every single year, and J.J. Clark and Coach Swider are in the office until 2 a.m. every night, still game planning and trying to figure out how to beat this team.
Wesleyan showing that they're going to keep Wheaton's onside return on its toes here.
It's good to see number 31, Stone Watson, return to the kickoff return unit.
And Adam Sandy going to miss this game after being banged up, so they're going to go single receiver back here, and this is a little bit different return look. A wobbling kick, and this will go, actually it's going to stay inbounds, take a tight and hop into the end zone, and Wheaton will start with a touchback. And this is a special teams unit that has been, the special teams unit maybe as much as anybody has been affected by injuries. When you look at the guys who have been knocked out, as Sandy went down last week, he's only going to be holding, so that'll keep the kicking operation going. And so now you're really taking a hit. Adam Torini's gone with the collarbone, so you're really looking at your maybe fifth choice along with Stone Watson back there. So they will just choose to go single returner, and that's obviously going to affect the way it's blocked up. Illinois Wesleyan defense starting out in a 4-3. Eric DeBose, Justin Krezakowski, Chance Hilliard, and John Knoll in the front four. Jordan Hassan, Britton Wilkie, Josh Aiken, the linebackers. As it's 1st and 10 for the Thunder from their own 25. Play fake, and it's a quick hit to Trey Hanley, and that is complete across the 40 to the 41. And like you guys said, they're going to dare Wheaton to throw the ball. Curtis McWilliams took a big step last week against Elmhurst, and he comes out with a lot of confidence on first down.
Yeah, and it starts with the Wheaton running game, which is going to be very respected. I mean, they've done a good job running the football. They're big, physical. They come out with 2 tight ends. So that play action, that kind of look right there, they're going to get a cover 3 look, which is 1 high safety. That play action slant is going to be there with that look most of the day. 1st
and 10 up to the 41 as McWilliams quickly to the line. They'll send Schola in jet motion. It's really an extended handoff, and it goes right through his hands. Looked like Wheaton was going to have it blocked up well on the outside, but Schola just probably got his eyes upfield, as we see it here on the Realty Executives replay, and just couldn't quite secure the catch.
And that's just a drop by Schola. It's unfortunate because they had a good play.
He did. It was blocked up really well. You saw number 17, the middle linebacker, Brandon Wilkie, as you mentioned, the safety last year, but very physical there on Nichols to fight through that block. And
it'll be Nichols, Hanley, and Carter Roberts handling the wide receiver duties, with Chase White out today, as Olateju will cross the 43, maybe to the 44, before he is slung backwards by Josh Aiken. And the last remaining starters here on the corners, Quentin Walters and Trevor Kepke. For the Titans, the safeties, Trevor Staley and Jeremy Gitteroff, who makes his first substantial look here. And he's been out for a couple weeks, 8 tackles and an interception on the year, but that's a senior that's anchoring that defensive backfield for the Titans. That's going to get a good test here on 3rd and 7.
Yeah, big down here. The Thunder have been very good this season at converting third downs at roughly 50% and getting off the field on third down. That's been a key to their success.
They will send 2 left and 2 right. That's Zach Lindquist stood up in the slot right. Play clock's at 5 as Stone Watson moves to the left hip of McWilliams. Snap back on 1. He drops on 3. Plenty of time. Throwing the quick out to Lindquist. It's complete across midfield and good for a first down. And it's good to see Zach Lindquist get involved early. We talked about it last week and we queued him up for a touchdown coming out of that first water break. But he's a big weapon that Wheaton has not quite used enough of this season.
And it is good to see, even from the beginning of the season, to see where McWilliams has progressed in his passing routes and going through the route tree. It's just a good job. He's not locking onto that one receiver. He waited for Lindquist to get open and then just fired a bullet to the sideline. A difficult pass, but a great play.
Lindquist, I believe, has stood up all the way at the top of the field as a slot receiver. High snap. Williams pulls it back in. Quick slant is complete to Nichols. It was a little bit behind him, but a nice job by Nichols to hold on to that ball, and that's a 12-yard gain.
And the snap, I don't know if it came early, but there's a little bit of exchange problem there, as you'll see off the replay. Yeah, an aggressive snap from the center. You'll remember Hibben had 4 snaps over the head of our quarterback last week against Elmhurst, so hopefully he'll settle in here. I do know that the Thunder have a big plan for Lindquist in this game. There's an expanded package. We should see him in a number of situations, particularly if they get down in the red zone.
Credit McWilliams there. He took that high snap and threw a fastball into the hands of Nichols. 1st and 10 from the Wesleyan 35. They'll roll the pocket left. Blitz is picked up. Quick hitter again to Nichols. Ducks a tackle inside the 25. Hurdles another one inside the 20, and he's going to work his way down to the 15-yard line. Philip Nichols, who's shown his elusiveness on kickoff returns, now shows it there down to the 15. That's a gain of 20.
And the Thunder are taking advantage against these 2 tight ends. The Wesleyan is going to a 1 high safety, a 3 deep look, which really gives you a soft corner. Those corners are playing off 7-8 yards. They are attacking the flats and attacking those outside zones against these soft corners.
Nico Gabenko makes a possible touchdown saving tackle there. 1st and 10 to the Wesleyan 15. Give this to Watson. Watson had the edge taken away. He will duck in and get what he can. And I think it's a loss of half a yard there. That was a great job by the Wesleyan defense not to let him bounce that outside. That looked like the corner Quentin Walters coming up to at least force him back inside.
Bit of a chess match too, because that time with the 2 tight end look, they stayed with 2 high safeties, and the 2 high safeties discourages you from passing it as much, but it gives you an extra lane in the running game. Having that 2nd tight end adds a gap in the running game, and so they're going to run it against 2 high safeties, and they're going to try to pass it to the outside against 1 high safety. Man to man here.
Loss of a yard, 2nd and 11 from the 16. It remains Watson. McWilliams rolling to his right, doesn't have a lot of help, and I think that was maybe a miscommunication because Watson went the wrong way for the play fake. There was nobody out into the flat, and McWilliams has to see that and do a better job of just throwing that ball away, even though I guess there's nobody out there for him to try to send that pass to.
Yeah, you took a 13-yard loss. You just can't do that down in the red zone. You got to get rid of the ball.
Yeah, just a completely broken play from the beginning. McWilliams thought he was going to have Watson on the play action, and Watson went the other side, and you can see him patting his chest. He knows that he was the one who made the mistake. But to Rusty's point, McWilliams just needs to get rid of the ball there.
Jordan Hassan gets the free sack there for the Titans. It leaves 3rd and 23 from the 28-yard line. From here, it'd be a field goal attempt to 45 yards. Both running backs in motion to the left side. Somehow there's no flag, and it's there's a flag coming from the far side. That's TJ Williams and Stone Watson win in mere motion. And you can see as they're in motion, Watson is yelling at Williams, "What are you doing?" I would expect Wesleyan to. Well, it would make a lot of sense.
They should take the penalty because it'll potentially put them outside field goal range if they can keep them from completing the next pass. So I would think you'd want to take it, but maybe you don't. They're going to decline it.
Yeah, they're going to decline it because the other thing is you can have another passing down. You risk a pass interference. You can risk giving them a free down. As it is, they're 13 yards shy of the first down marker. They completed the pass to the 20, and that'll bring on Stefan Kinnair for the field goal opportunity.
It gives you a field goal opportunity inside of 40 yards, so you want to consider taking that penalty. Even though it's just a 5-yard penalty, then you can tighten it up a little bit, and that just gets you that extra 5 yards on the other end.
So this will be an attempt of 37 yards. This will be the longest. If he can make it, it'll be his longest of the year. The hold, like we mentioned, of Adam Sandy, who will just be doing the holding duties today. John Vargas, the long snapper. Good snap. Hold put down. Kick is away, and it is no good.
Yeah, and to come away with no points after a long sustained drive like that is frustrating for Wheaton, especially because, they didn't have really any trouble moving the ball, and where Wesleyan was able to get the stop was on blown plays, 2 in a row. You have two running backs going in motion, which is obviously an illegal play. But then you have Stone Watson, who wasn't able to I don't know if it's a misunderstanding of the playbook or just didn't quite get his read right. But that's frustrating for Wheaton to move the ball so well and to come away with nothing.
Trips right here for Brandon Bauer as the Titans take over from their own 20. Moving left to right, 3 wide receivers all to the right. They will hand it off to Alexander, and that's Kennedy who plugs the hole, holding him to just a yard. 2 all-conference linemen, as this is a Titan unit up front that returns all 5 guys from last year. Connor Melvin, the left tackle, Jack Maroney, the left guard. Mike Mulcrone was the first-team all-conference center last year. Chris Collins and Nick Monfordini, who was a second-team right tackle. Andrew Appel, you'll see a lot as the tight end. Jack Healy's going to be the big target. Number 38 on the outside. He's 6'5", so Wheaton will look to bring help on big number 38. 2nd and 9 here for the Titans for Bauer, who will play fake off of Alexander, goes into the flat and somehow overthrows the 6'5" wide receiver, and that will bring up 3rd and 9 here for the Titans.
And if you watch Brandon Bauer play, he's a dynamic running back. He makes plays. He's got great feet. He throws the ball aggressively, but he did get a guy in his face there, and he has thrown that ball inaccurately a little bit, but he can also throw that ball right on target. So he's a little streaky. Sometimes he'll throw 3 or 4 balls in a row. You'll think, wow, that's a big league throw, and then he'll miss an open receiver pretty badly. So his consistency at times hasn't been the best.
3rd and 9 from their own 21. 3 standing to the right, 1 to the left. As Bauer looks over, Wheaton brings pressure up the middle. He's flushed out of the pocket, and this ball is going to be complete up the near sideline. It'll depend on the spot.
He got it.
I think he got it, but just enough. It was Stevenson who couldn't quite close the gap in time, and it's completed to Liam Kiefer on the outside for a first down.
And really just a desperation throw, but an athletic quarterback gets that ball up to an athletic receiver, Liam Kiefer, who makes a really nice play over the shoulder and gets just enough to line a gain to move the chains.
Yeah, great example by Bauer, just buying a couple extra seconds.
And then, like you mentioned, a very athletic move by Kiefer, that late adjustment allowing him to take it upfield. Here's a give again to Alexander to the near side. Not a whole lot of room at first. Closed down by Fox, and then Stevenson helps to clean it up. This is an Illinois Wesleyan team that builds their offense on running the ball. Alexander is averaging over 100 yards a game, but this is a Wheaton defense that is top 5 in the country in rushing defense. So there's going to be a lot of give here into what Wesleyan can do on the ground.
Yeah, the key to the game today is just Wheaton's ability to stop the run and then keep the ball out of Jack Healy's hand, and he's not going to see single coverage this entire game.
2nd and 9. They've run it twice now with Alexander on first down. It's netted them 2 yards. Alexander off a play fake. Bauer in the pocket, rolls to his left, tries to set up, and finally will throw it into the bench. He was brought down on the play. That was Pat O'Connell, who is back this week after missing the Elmhurst game with an injury.
Well, it was a great play by Chase Greenlee, who had a tight end and a running back on him both. They're double teaming him. He came inside the tight end, fought through the running back, and actually put pressure on Bauer to get outside the pocket. O'Connell was able to come and clean him up, and Bauer tried to get him off of his feet, and he was disciplined. As a defensive lineman, you don't want to jump at a fake of a quarterback. Dan and I both know that. So staying on your feet was a key play to that, but it was all set up by Chase Greenlee's pressure, who's a very disruptive player.
It's such an advantage for a guy like O'Connell to move into the middle from the end because he's so quick. He's so fast in the closing speed that you typically don't see from a defensive tackle. And when Greenlee's able to take the inside route, which typically you don't want to see on a mobile quarterback, but because O'Connell's speed, he's able to chase Bauer down and force a bad throw or force a throw out of bounds.
So it appears Wesleyan is taking a timeout here in the first quarter. 8:46 to go. This is the second drive for Illinois Wesleyan. If you're just joining us, the first drive. Well, this is their first drive. Is that right? Yeah, I guess we started with the ball and drove down and missed the field goal. So Wesleyan's first drive here. This will be another key third down. They converted their first third down. They got 8:46 to go in the first quarter, and another critical time for the Wheaton defense. They've been very good at getting off the field on third down. Let's see what they can do here.
And they just do such a great job of keeping offenses off schedule. They're always in, it seems like they're always in a 3rd and long situation, so you get a guy like Greenlee, a specialist on the field, to get into
Four wide
the rush.
receivers for Bauer. He's going to look to go up top. Tipped by Fox, broken up, intended for Healy. Like you mentioned, they're not going to give him a single look. He had Blazek over the top, Fox underneath, and he tried to thread the needle. A nice play by Kyle Fox, and the defense is going to get off the field here.
Yeah, it doesn't matter where number 38 Jack Healy is on the field, whether it's on, to the field, to the boundary, in the slot. It doesn't matter. That secondary coverage DB is going to be right over the top of him every time. They are not going to let that guy beat him because really, at 6'5", he's the only guy that provides any sort of deep threat for Wesleyan, and they're just not going to let him beat him with that.
Nichols the lone returner now as they go single return on the punts too, and that's not a good punt from Baird. That will bounce at the 40, and Nichols does a nice job limiting the bounce, so he comes up and will take his medicine with a 2-yard return. But what's not included in that is just the possible lost yardage. That's a veteran move from Phil Nichols.
Sure is. It's a great move, and that hidden yardage in special teams is often key to games like this when you have 2 top-ranked teams in a battle for what could be the conference championship. It's plays like that make a big difference. You got a veteran who takes it off the bounce, instead of letting that ball bounce a second time and maybe roll another 10 yards, takes it off the bounce, gets 3 or 4 yards. That's 13 yards of hidden yardage that, you have really good field position now in your second drive.
Trips right, and Carter Roberts will be the wide receiver to the left side as the Wheaton offense will come out for the second time today. 1st and 10 from their own 39. And they will another play fake on first down into the flat for Watson. You see a burst across the 45, still fighting to the 46-yard line. And again, these are extended handoff plays. These are easy money pitch and catch, and it's a nice job by taking the space that Wesleyan is giving you on the outside there.
And no surprise to see both Stone Watson and Shola Olateju on the field at the same time. When you have a guy like Shola may be the most dynamic athlete in the CCIW with his breakaway speed. So if you get him the ball in space, look out.
No doubt. I mean, he's very dynamic set of running backs.
Under center goes McWilliams. Quick handoff to Olateju.
Wow.
And I don't know if Olateju was ready for that play almost. That was McWilliams with a dead sprint back to the handoff, and Olateju looked like he had barely taken the first step.
Well, Chance Hilliard's shooting through. They're trying to trap him with Lindquist, and Lindquist doesn't get enough of a block on him, and he just runs through the block and makes a great play. That's a great play by number 92, Chance Hilliard, the 250-pound sophomore out of Marion, Illinois.
It's actually interesting. I had a very off chance of talking with Chance Hilliard's dad before the game, and he's actually, their second son is being recruited pretty highly by Wheaton, a running back out of Marion, Illinois.
3rd and 5 from the 44 as Nichols motions left to right. Trips to the left side. They're showing corner blitz from the near side. It's picked up by Jones. McWilliams stands tall, delivers to the flat. It's incomplete. Lindquist, the intended receiver. And that will bring out the punt unit. Actually, that's Tyler Pace, the intended receiver, number 88, not 89.
Great matchup there. They got him going against the linebacker Aiken. That's a favorable matchup for Wheaton. You got to complete that. It's a simple outcut against the coverage that they knew they were going to get. The play was designed well. It was executed by the receiver well. You just got to put it in a place where you can catch it.
Mitch Pfeiffer will be the returner for Wesleyan as Wheaton will bring on the punt unit with Zach Fedler, who's been very good so far this year. 7:07 left here, first quarter. Scoreless game here at McCulley Stadium. Snap brought in by Fedler. Spiraling kick. Pfeiffer going to come up to the 25, and he's going to stand on the tracks and be run over right at the point of the catch. That's Jacob Colleen who cleans that play up, cleans the special teams ace as well as the starting linebacker, and the Titans will take over right on the spot at the 25.
Great job there by Colleen from San Antonio, Texas. He's a junior and just kept his leverage, kept his lane, and timed it up really well to make a great tackle and get them back pinned deep.
All the CCIW teams in action at the same time today for the first time. The other games, Milliken and North Park, scoreless in the first. Carthage has hung 20 on Carroll in the first 5 minutes. Wesleyan and Elmhurst and Augie tied at 7 in the first quarter. North Central down at Wash U, 7-0 Wash U in the first quarter. Quick hitter to the near side for Kiefer. Kiefer's got a lane, breaks a tackle, and he's got a first down just shy of the 40. And we've got a Titan player down.
I think that's Jack Healy.
Holding his knee. No, that's tight end Andrew Appel. Right at the point of the play.
The Did not look good.
Did not look good there on the replay.
That's a big loss for the Titans, as Appel is one of their leading receivers. He's tied with Healy for the team lead, 14 catches for 160 yards and 2 touchdowns. A senior starting tight end out of Arlington Heights, Illinois. Big loss for the Titans. We just hope he's okay with an apparent leg injury there.
It will be, and as I guess we were saying before that play, it'll be interesting to see what's going on down in St. Louis, because WashU will join the CCIW for football only starting next season. So this is really their first look at the CCIW, and it's going to be a big one with North Central down there, and the Bears off to the early lead on a 24-yard touchdown, as Appel being helped off and not putting any weight on that right knee. And like you said, it did not look good on the replay.
Yeah, that did not look good at all.
And that's bad news for the Titans, because one of the things, the Wesleyan's top players that can play with anybody in the conference, one thing that they've struggled with over the years is when they get guys hurt and the depth. And they play a lot of 2 tight end sets. Appel's been a very key part of their offense because he's very versatile. He can go out wide. He runs a lot of motion. He slips into the flat. He's been a big weapon for them in their 2 tight end set. Anthony
Ryan, a 6'1", 210 junior, will take over for him. Give up the middle to Alexander, and he will break through the line of scrimmage and get across the 40 to the 43. That is their best carry so far. It goes for 4 yards. It'll be 2nd and 6.
So 6:30 to go in the first quarter, scoreless. Second drive for Wesleyan. The first 2 drives for Wheaton came up with nothing. 1 missed field goals and a punt. Wesleyan's first drive was a punt, and now here they are on a 2nd down and manageable yardage.
They will bring a motion from the left side. That is Kiefer. And Bauer will move the pocket to the left. Kiefer throwing against his body, finds Bauer, Dallas McCray looking back, looking for a holding penalty as he chased down the quarterback, but that's the center Mulcrone who was able to hold him off, and they'll move the chains into Thunder territory.
Nice job. And Wesleyan has always had a good plan against Wheaton. I think Normesh understands philosophically what the Thunder are trying to do, and he usually comes out with a great set of plays. That's a well-designed play to get Bauer on the move to eliminate the pressure. You get a simple out cut against the coverage that the Thunder run, and they'll be able to run that play fairly often this game, or that type of concept.
2 tight end look. They both move to the left side of the line for the Titans. They will give to Alexander. Flag comes down in the middle of the line.
Wow.
And breaking through right to there to make the tackle. That's Luke Solly. And we will wait to see what the penalty is. It's in the area of holding. That actually might be an illegal chop block against Pat O'Connell. Was engaged. And then the next blocker took out his knees.
And you talk about Luke Solly with, if that play's not going to hold up because they're going to accept that penalty, but I mean, that would have been his 10.5 tackle for loss this season. And what a player. That guy, when he picks a lane, he runs downhill and he makes running backs pay.
Well, he's a super smart player. His IQ is really high. He knows where to be and how to leverage the ball. And he plays behind, a phenomenal defensive line.
Yep.
So if you're a linebacker, you love having these big horses in front of you because you can pick your spots and just come downhill and you know where the ball's going to be.
And the ability with a great defensive line, they just keep bodies off of the linebackers.
That's a big penalty because that's a personal foul. So it's 1st and 25, back to their own 38. Bauer looks to the right side into the slot. It's completed. And a nice tackle made in space. Pass was complete to number 15, Dean Zagulich. That's Corey Kennedy making a nice tackle on an island there.
Still about 10 yards shy of the original line of scrimmage. So, IW's off schedule here, and they're going to need to keep the ball. They're going to need to keep the ball in the air to keep the ball moving down the field. And look here for Bauer to get out of the pocket towards to the field and throw across his body again.
And here's that chess match. Zach Healy at 6'5" is in the slot left. They hand off Alexander. Patient running, bounces back to the left side. Stevenson is there. There's just nowhere to go. That play extremely well stacked up. Greenlee and Stevie there for the Thunder, and it will be 3rd and 17 here for the Titans.
And I don't know that that's a great play call against this defense. Mulcrone is going to have to leave. His helmet came off as he's down the field, which is a key thing here on 3rd down, 3rd and long, and you got your senior captain center going off the field. But that play call against a defense that's one of the top 3 rushing defenses in the country, you got to get more yardage than that. They're in 3rd and long now.
Yeah, I agree. I was completely unexpected. You try to keep a defense on your toes, but that's Wheaton's strength is the running game and stopping it.
Healy's the big target. He's split to the right side against Fox. Bauer against a three-man rush. Climbs the pocket. Still climbing. He's going to look for Healy, who taps the toe. It gets inbounds, and it's going to be right at the first down marker, it appears. It's going to be enough to move the chain. So they pick it up on 3rd and 16.
Great execution there. Bauer just buying a little bit extra time to get his receiver open, and that's the kind of ball he can throw. You'll see him make that throw, a great throw in coverage. Wheaton had a guy underneath and over the top. There was a slight window, and he put it right where Healy could catch it to tap his toe. Good execution by the Titans.
And they'll set up 1st and 10 at the Wheaton 33-yard line. 4 minutes left here in the first quarter. Bauer stays out of the gun. And they will hand this one off to Alexander. Cut back around the center, and he will get 3 yards before he's flung forward by Saleh to give him another couple. That's a gain of 5 on first down.
Credit the Titans here and putting together a little bit of a drive. And again, they've been able to convert on 3rd down. Thunder have been great at getting off the field on 3rd down so far. Credit to the Titans for being able to stay on the field and be good at taking away one of the strengths of the Wheaton defense.
Yeah, that's just great vision from Alexander. That play was supposed to go right, and he saw the hole cut back around the center of Mulcrone, and that'll be a 5-yard gain. That's their best run of the game. 2nd and 5 for now from the 28-yard line. Press coverage on the right side. Motion comes. Kiefer left to right. Bauer will hand off Alexander. I don't know if he's going to play fake, standing in the pocket, delivers over the middle, incomplete, intended for that tight end, Anthony Ryan. And here comes a big one, because Illinois Wesleyan has had some problems with their field goal operation. They have changed kickers recently, actually at halftime of last week's game. So if Wheaton's defense can get a hold here, I think if you're the Titans, you're looking at 4-down territory for where you are at the field.
Yeah, it's incredibly important here for Wheaton's defense to get off the field after a second long 3rd down conversion. And to Doug's point from earlier, that's something that they've been very good at, is 3rd down efficiency as a defensive unit. And now it's just time to get off the field and get the ball back to your offense.
Well, it could be 4-down territory for Normash. It would not surprise me.
Ryan moves to the tight left. They will give Alexander, cuts back. He's got a lane and more. 15, 10, 5, angling for the end zone. Touchdown, Titans. A 28-yard rushing touchdown for Morgan Alexander, and the Titans strike first here at McCauley Stadium.
That's a great play call, because as I mentioned, I'm quite certain Normash was thinking 4 downs. He saw that nickel package come in with 3 down linemen, with Wheaton expecting pass, so they had the extra DBs in there, which opens up the middle. You don't have as many people in the running gaps, and they did a good job. They handed the ball off, because full well knowing if he gets 2 yards, they're going for it on 4th and 3, and they spring him and catch Wheaton in a bad defense.
Illinois Wesleyan also employing the swinging gate formation. It worked for Elmhurst last week in the first touchdown of the game. Patrick Tata will do the kicking for the Titans. Good snap, hold, put down, and this one is good. So a 7-0 lead for the Titans with 3:06 left here in the first quarter. For the second time in 2 weeks, the Thunder, who made it through the first 3 weeks of the year without facing a deficit, are trailing here early on.
Yeah, and just not a great drive for Wheaton's defense, but the credit there belongs to IWU for putting together a consistent and sustained drive where they incorporated the running game. Bauer made some great plays on his feet and had great throws on the run, and just a really good job of play calling by IWU's offensive coordinator there to, you're going for it on 4th down no matter what. So give it up the middle, try to get what you can, and they sprung it big for a touchdown. And just a great drive by IWU.
Yeah, they made plays on 3rd down. That was the gist of it, is Wheaton got them into 3rd down, a couple of 3rd and longs. Twice they got them into 3rd and 10 plus, and Wesleyan converted both of them. Bauer making those plays. So credit Bauer for being the playmaker we thought he was so far. And right now the edge is to IWU's. They take an early 7-0 lead. Wheaton's going to have to respond here. Again, Wheaton's offense has made some mistakes on their first drive. They got to be efficient. They got to be more efficient, and guys have got to step up and make the plays when those opportunities present themselves, because this is an aggressive and very sound Wesleyan defense. It's not going to be easy to get points in this game.
We will check in following the kickoff with our sideline reporter Nate Stein, as this one is teed up by Tata for the Titans. Left to right, an end over end kick. Watson will take it 3 yards deep. He's going to bring it out, angling to the right hash. Watson across the 15, cuts back to the 20, dancing to the 25, tried to bounce it out, and if he would have got outside the numbers, he had a lane, but a nice tackle made there, and with that, we will send it down to the sideline for Nate Stein. Nate, obviously Wheaton taking an early punch there. What's the feel on the Thunder sideline following that drive?
Well, Rusty, obviously, like you said, that's not exactly what they wanted to happen early on in this game. Second straight week that they're facing a deficit. Last week, obviously, they were able to come back from that against an Elmhurst team. This is an Illinois Wesleyan team that has a little bit more talent. So the Thunder are just looking to get the offense going here with the ground game, get Olateju a few more touches, and put together a nice drive.
Thank you, Nate. We'll continue to check in down on the sideline with Nate Stein as Olateju takes over with the Thunder offense here on the right hip of Curtis McWilliams. 1st and 10 from their own 24-yard line. And they split the field with bunch wide receivers left and right. McWilliams, time in the pocket, going deep for Shola. Wow. Shola goes right through his hands. It was going to be a touchdown. And for the second time, Olateju with a big drop. That was a sure 6.
That was a sure 6. And unfortunately, that slot position is usually Stone Watson. And he came off that last kickoff return a little gimpy. He's being looked at his ankle by the trainers. That pass was supposed to be Stone Watson in that spot. And Stone's a very good and reliable receiver. Shola, unfortunately, comes out, has his second drop. That would have been a sure touchdown.
Yeah, he had 10 yards on the closest defender. So it'll be 2nd and 10 from the 24. Nichols in motion. Handoff Olateju bouncing to the left side. And he couldn't quite break free from the beginning. That play was blown up in the middle, as that looked like Braden Parker wasn't able to hold his block, and that'll be a loss of a yard. 3rd and 11 here as the Titans dominating the line play here in the early going.
Yeah. Chance Hilliard again.
Yep, he's had his way with the interior line of Wheaton so far in this game, just been completely dominant. That's his 2nd tackle for loss. And Shola just hasn't been able to get out of the backfield yet.
3rd and 11 from the 23, and this is a big one for the Thunder, trying to slow the momentum for the Titans. They show 3, they will bring 5 as McWilliams finds Nichols. Nichols turns upfield, has the first down, and fights his way to the 40. Philip Nichols looks like he's going to be the go-to guy for Curtis McWilliams today, and that's a big pickup for the Thunder offense.
Curtis McWilliams did a great job with 3 or 4 guys in his face to step up and deliver that ball to Nichols, and good job by Nichols by avoiding the first attack and just getting past the line of gain needed for the first down. Just a great job, great pass and throw for both guys there.
And it moves the ball to the 39-yard line. Hanley inside of Nichols left, nobody to the high side. They will stretch Olateju to the left behind Hibben. Olateju tries to turn the corner and does. 45, tiptoes up the sideline, and will get all he can across the 45. They'll say he tagged out of bounds at the 45-yard line.
That's just speed to the corner there. Shola's got that extra gear and did a great job of turning the corner. They had the angle, the Wesleyan defense, but Shola's got that extra gear he was able to use to turn the corner.
And he then turned it up looking for contact, and that was going to be Trevor Koepke, who was there for the Titans. They give him 6 to the 45. 2nd and 4 here for the Thunder inside of the 2 minutes left in the first quarter. Titans leading 7-0 here on homecoming weekend at McCulley Stadium. They show blitz with Aiken to the high side, and they will run away from it with Olateju. Get hit in the backfield, breaks the tackle, spinning off of Wilkie, and he's got a first down into Titan territory and more. Titans had what they were looking for there. That was Krezikowski who broke free into the backfield, but Olateju just too tough, and he will work that across midfield for a first down.
Great run there by Shola, just physical, breaking runs against some good tacklers too. Those are good players that he's breaking those tackles on. So Shola's on a little bit of a mission today.
Yeah, right into the teeth of a really nice defense. I mean, these guys are coming downhill and flying, and he just did a great job of breaking.
Free play here for the Thunder.
Tackles.
Illinois Wesleyan's offsides. They're going deep up the sideline looking for Hanley. It's incomplete. Just great recognition there. They knew they had it free, and they went for the big one.
As they should have. McWilliams showing really good pocket sense that he can see that the guy's jumping off the hard count. He just needs his receiver to run a little harder and to run with him, so give him a chance.
Well, as much credit as we give him, also give Quentin Walter saw his guys bounce and immediately backpedaled out, so he was in great position knowing Hanley was hot routing up the sideline.
These 2 starting corners for Wesleyan are excellent playmakers for them. Quentin Walters and Trevor Koepke, both of them with 14 tackles and 6 pass breakups on the year.
First and 5 now from the 42. It's Olateju again, and Wesleyan brought numbers that time. They had white shirts into the backfield in a hurry, and that is a loss of 2. Worth keeping an eye on as we look around the conference. Wash U up 10-0 on North Central down in St. Louis in the first quarter. North Central is driving, but it's Callaway coming off a little injured after that play.
And holding his rib or his chest, and Kevin Park comes into the game for him.
So battle of attrition here. Some guys coming off early. Stone Watson on the sideline, his leg being looked at. Callaway comes off there. Those are 2 big losses for the Thunder.
2nd and 7 from the 44. Again, the Titans will show pressure. This is going to be a give to Olateju, and yet again, he's met at the line of scrimmage. And I don't think that was a design read, but if it was, if McWilliams would have looked upfield, he had no one staying with him if he pulls that ball out and keeps it. And credit the Titan defense, though. They are in the backfield quite a bit here.
Well, it was the right call because they were also bringing the safety off the corner, so which allowed Nolan, the defensive end, to crash, and knowing that the quarterback will be taken by the blitzing safety. So they had the right call played. They had both the running back and the quarterback covered on that, so there was really no win. It was just the right call by the Wesleyan defense.
Well, we said it at the beginning that Wesleyan was going to be giving us the same treatment that they gave Whitewater, and Wheaton's been making hay off of creating a mismatch of their own with bringing an extra guy into the box. But now Wesleyan's doing the same thing and forcing Wheaton to run right at them. So it'll be interesting to see what happens now with it. It looks to me like Stone might have some sort of serious injury. They're checking on his. Unfortunately, when you see Dr. Watt come in there wrapping ice around, they've probably decided that he's not going to be coming back into the game today. So, you lose a dynamic guy like that.
Yeah, it's tough. It looks like he's not going to come back. They're wrapping an ice pack around his knee. We just hope and pray that he's going to be okay. That's going to create an opportunity for T.J. Williams, it looks like. And, that's not something you want to see because Stone Watson's such a dynamic player.
And the reaction of the folks talking to him also is not what you want to see. If it's a bang-up situation, you don't see hugs all around like what you're seeing around Stone Watson. That looks like it could be a big one.
I speak from personal experience. I've had that exact same conversation with Dr. Watt, and the same treatment from the staff. It's just not fun. And I mean, it's especially on a guy like Stone who doesn't have a 290-pound leg like I had. They know at this point, and it's just really unfortunate.
3rd and 7 here for the Thunder.
Big down.
Trips right, and they will just bring 4. McWilliams flushed out of the pocket. He's going to be grabbed around the ankles and brought down for a sack. That's
DuBose.
Eric DuBose with his 4th sack of the year, leading sack man for the Titans, and that's a big one as it's going to bring on the punt unit.
Yeah, he beat Andrew Jones on an inside move, and McWilliams not able to get outside with his feet. If he did, he had plenty of room to run and or to continue to look downfield. DuBose is converted linebacker. To McWilliams there on a huge play. Again, the Titans beating Wheaton at what Wheaton's been good at. They're getting them off the field. They're stopping them on 3rd down and converting 3rd downs.
High snap, Fedler brings it down, and he will rifle this kick down. It bounces, and will take a Thunder bounce inside the 10 to the 5, and that's actually a pretty smart move there by the returner, Mitch Pfeiffer, just kind of falling on the ball and not letting it roll any farther than the 5-yard line. As we look at the first quarter stats, Doug, take us through them.
So first quarter stats, obviously Wesleyan ends the first quarter with a 7-0 lead. The Thunder ran 19 plays for 87 yards, 7 of 10 in the passing game, just 1 rush, -1, 9 rushes for -1 yards. So the Titans doing a good job there. Solo Olateju had 7 for 17, but a loss of 12 by McWilliams on the sack. The Titans ran 16 plays for 99 yards, 5 of 9 for Bauer.
After this play, we'll take you around the conference as we have first quarter scores from all the games. And this is a play fake for Bauer. Staying in the pocket, pressure in his face. It's almost picked off by Luke Solly. He had it in his hands and couldn't quite bring it down. Elsewhere around the conference, Milliken and North Park scoreless after 1. Elmhurst and Augie 7-7 after 1. Wash U 10-0 over North Central. And Carthage 34-0 over Carroll after 15 minutes.
So this game, I mean, it's just a matter of there's such small differences between what could be and what is. Right now, the Thunder trail 7-0. You had Olateju drop a sure touchdown pass down the middle of the field. Right there, you had Solly drop a sure interception that's going to put the Thunder in the red zone, but instead it's still Titans ball, leading 7-0 with 14:07 to go in the half.
2nd and 10 from their own 6 for Bauer. He will give to Alexander running to his left. Alexander high steps over, and Dallas McCray's helmet came off in a big hit, and he still made the tackle, but he is, oh my goodness, not moving after the play.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, his head went snapping back.
His helmet came off. As you watch the replay, his helmet popped off with a punch at the snap.
Oh my goodness.
Wow, and this has just been an unfortunate display. We've had players on both sides just going down with crazy stuff. So just pray that
that's a
McCray's okay.
That's a scary one, because that was going to be a violent hit at the point of the tackle anyhow.
Well, that's going to, for the Thunder, obviously they've been a little bit thin at defensive tackle, but they do still have some guys there. Theo Salvaggio is probably going to come in. You'll see a little bit more of DeMarte Arifilis. Be the two guys that come in, along with Patrick O'Connell, who didn't play last week but is back this week. Big 3rd down coming up here for the Titans. They're over there talking about it while they attend to McCray.
Yeah, that's going to be a tough one for the Thunder defense to return to business from.
Well, again, the Thunder have suffered some setbacks, early in this game from an injury perspective. It looks like they've lost Stone Watson. Callaway went off the field, with what looked like a rib injury. Don't know if he's going to return. And now you got Dallas McCray. Those are key players, along with the other key players that are already out. And as deep and as talented as Wheaton is, at some point, that depth is going to start to affect anybody when you get this level and number of injuries.
Yeah, you're playing without Whit Wiggins, too, who had an arm injury last week. And the training staff wisely taking their time with this one. It looked like Dallas tried to get up once and went right back to the turf. He is sitting up, he is responsive, which is the other thing you worry about after a hit like that. And now they're going to help the big fella up off the ground. We got a big crowd, and a total hush came over the stadium after that one.
And when you see a helmet fly off like that, it's always scary, but then he ended up on the bottom of that pile. And, I mean, it's...
Well, it's the type of player he is. He wants to go make the play, so without his helmet, he ran over to the pile to make a tackle, and the tackler's coming in. He got hit with the wave of momentum of bringing the player down, and so you just hope that he's going to be okay. They're walking him over to...
Yeah, I think he's going to the ambulance. He's leaving the game. And that's going to be a big loss for Wheaton. And just, I mean, the most important thing is that he's healthy, and, we pray that he's... they're making the right decision absolutely here by going and getting him checked out, if that's in fact what they're doing. Yeah, he's getting right on the ambulance.
Well, they'll put him in there, and I'm sure they'll run him through the protocol and check him and see if they need to take him over and get him further looked at.
Well, in the meantime, 3rd and 9 here as they run a draw to Alexander. He's got the 1st down and more out
right
across
at
the
it.
15. It's going to depend on the spot. It looks pretty close.
I think they got it.
I think that's a smart play call for Illinois Wesleyan for when you've got a defense that's reeling a little bit to go with a little bit of misdirection. It's going to be a tough one for Wheaton to you see a guy go down in an injury like that, and you've got to come right back and make a play. This is going to be tough for this defense here. If you're Illinois Wesleyan, now's the time to go deep, and it sounds crass, but they've got a game to win for the Titans, and don't be surprised if they look to take a shot here. 1st and 10 from the 17. Bauer will send motion right to left and will give to Alexander. Bounces to the edge. Kennedy pursuing along with Stevenson, and he will get across the 20 to the 21. But again, that was what was being the edge being set. Not much gain is now turning into 3, 4, 5 yards for the Titans on the ground.
Yeah, I think Wesleyan looks at this the unfortunate situation of losing another guy in the middle as. Their outlook now is they don't need to take those big shots. They're just going to run right at that hole. I mean, Theo Salvaggio is a good and accomplished player who's had some playing time, but he doesn't have the experience yet this year. And it's time for him to step up and make plays because they're coming right at him.
Bauer's going to swing this into the flat to Alexander. Nice job by Greenlee to get off his block and get into the flat to defend it. The other thing is, if you talk to the staff, Dallas McCray is probably the guy they like the most in the middle of the line out of that deep defensive tackle group because he is violent at the line. So this will be a big third down here.
12:34 to go in the half. The Thunder trail 7-0. The Titans with the ball coming off the shadow of their own goal line. A big third down. The Titans have converted most of these in the game so far. Their percentage on third down has been quite high. And the Thunder haven't been able to get off the field, something they've been able to do all season, but not yet today. So let's see what happens on this big down.
Motion out with the tight end. They set him up in the slot. Bauer looking to his right, and it is incomplete. Had the guy there just too far in front, and that's got to be a big feel for the defense there to get a stop.
Yeah, big play for the defense there, but also it gets IWU. Takes a little bit of the momentum that they definitely had, having gained the lead. And to Doug's point, I mean, they've gotten off. They've continued drives on third and long situations. So for Wheaton to be able to get off the field finally on third down is a big momentum shift for both teams.
Great situation for Nichols to run and catch this ball and get some good field position, try to make something happen on this punt return.
A high spiraling punt. Nichols will have time on the catch. He makes it moving to the right side. Breaks out of the first tackle. Doesn't quite get there. Shoestring tackle made.
He breaks that tackle and he goes for 15 to 20 yards on that because he had the corner. He had the edge.
True, but still, catching that ball is the important part. Yep. Saving and getting 5 yards instead of letting that ball bounce and get bounce for 20. It's a big difference having a guy that can run and catch the ball to save you. It's great field position for the Thunder here. Now their offense has got to come out and do something.
We've talked about it with Nichols. I mean, just his ability. He's a guy that catches every punt. I mean, in traffic, he gets those hidden yards for you, as you like to talk about, Doug. Where he doesn't give up yardage, and he takes that job very seriously.
Now's the time to put the saddle on Shola Olateju and ride the big fella. They're going to quickly to Carter Roberts still on the near side on first down, and he's got 4. So they're going to take advantage of the cushion they're given. But I think if you're the Thunder, you've got 23's been your constant. He's kind of been your security blanket. Now is the time to say, hey, we need you, big fella. And you've got to challenge that offensive line to get it done for you. Callaway is back for the Thunder, I believe. Yes, he is. He's back on the left side of the line. So it's good to see Wheaton's getting one guy back that's come out a little banged up.
You got Lindquist in the slot, the 2 tight end look here. Nichols with single coverage down at the bottom.
And now they will back off with Quentin Walters. McWilliams, handoff Olateju, has a seam across midfield, bouncing to the near side, and he almost broke that one. Holding on for dear life was Brenton Wilkie, and it gets it to 3rd and 1 here for the Thunder. 3rd and a long one.
Nice little run there, but again, a guy like Wilkie who came down from safety to linebacker, he's in position, he's a good tackler, made a good play there to keep that from being a first down, to set up another third down where Wesleyan has gotten off the field regularly, and see if they can do it here.
This is a big one for both teams here. We try and just regain some momentum. Illinois Wesleyan trying to keep the status quo. 3rd and a long yard. Both teams pointing after what looked like a hard snap there. Lindquist back in motion to the left side, and he is open. Makes the catch, has the first down. That's just great play design from Jesse Scott to get your playmaker, Zach Lindquist, across the first down chains and an easy catch.
And credit to Taylor Graham, who's a passing game coordinator, for helping with that design and play call. That's well designed, an easy pitch and a catch to a big target, gets him the first down.
Just that short little Z motion freezes the guy coming with him. That was Wilkie who was running with him. 1st and 10 from the Titan 43. Thunder trailing 7-0. McWilliams stretches Olateju to the near side. Olateju breaks out of 1, turns the corner to the 40, and challenging guys. Quentin Walter came along for the ride as Olateju gets an extra yard, and that'll spark the crowd a little bit.
I mean, you just said they need to saddle up on Shola Olateju before this drive started, and that guy literally jumped on his back.
Great speed to turn the corner you see on the replay, and he just lowers the boom and brings him for a ride.
I believe that was Hanley got away with a hold there on the near side too for the Thunder, allowing that edge to be set. And we've got a whistle from the high side. I'm not sure. It is a first down. Yeah. I think the guy with the box over there is wondering, I'm standing right in front of the chains. Why does it still say 2? And now you're going to see TJ Williams in the backfield for the first time today. And we saw what the young fella out of Florida can do last week. Ran for 2 50-yard touchdowns. Ran for 117 yards on 9 carries. 1st and 10 from the 33. TJ on the misdirection. Bouncing to the near side. Look out 30. Stiff arming and out of bounds. And Quentin Walters having a tough couple of plays here in the tackling category.
Just an incredibly smooth running back TJ Williams is. And I talked with Jesse this morning, Jesse Scott, and the hierarchy of running backs in the backfield, they don't consider it to be 1, 2, and 3. They consider it to be 1, A, B, and C. I mean, these guys are all very special. I think all 3 guys in Wheaton's backfield could start at most schools in the conference, if not all of them.
Well, and you're going to have to see a lot of 32 now if what we fear with Stone Watson is true. So TJ who's continuing to get a little bit more work each week, building that portfolio.
We've yet to see the Spencer Peterson package. I think if they get in the red zone, we might see that. The Thunder struggled a little bit in the red zone last week, coming up with just 4 field goals. They had to take a timeout here. They weren't into what they want. Jesse Scott not very happy with somebody on the sideline, but they'll regroup with a chance here on 2nd down to pick up the first down. 9:32 to go, 7-0 Titans. The Thunder on the doorstep of the red zone, a place that they haven't been as efficient as they'd like to. They're scoring points, but they've been getting more field goals than they have touchdowns.
Yeah, a lot of that having to do with the snap issues last week. You've seen a much smoother operation between Hibben and McWilliams. And the other thing you've seen that maybe why you're not seeing the Spencer Peterson is Curtis McWilliams has looked good in the pocket. He's gone through his progressions. He's stepped up in traffic and delivered strong balls. And so I think that's probably another reason why you haven't seen the Peterson package there, which has been used to kind of get those tougher yards, is because Curtis is delivering that ball downfield with a lot of authority.
Well, and also this defense isn't really mismatched when you bring in that Spencer Peterman show, because you're basically man on man, and in that situation, it's just going to be who has the better athletes and who has the bigger guys.
North Central has taken their first lead of the game down in St. Louis, 14-10 over Wash U. Milliken on top of North Park, middle of the second quarter, and Augie with a field goal to take the lead over Elmhurst. 10-7. Running to the left side with Olateju. Flag comes down from the secondary. Not sure what that's going to be.
There might be a bit of chop block on the outside against that. I think the tight end fell and maybe inadvertently did a chop block. That's kind of what I thought I saw, but I might be wrong. We'll see what the refs come up with.
You got it, Doug. And that's a big one because, again, that's a 15-yarder.
Yeah, I think that was completely inadvertent. I mean, if we see the replay, I think the tight end slipped and fell.
Yeah, you're running the outside zone.
No, he cut him.
And Jones
that's absolutely the correct call.
Jones was already engaged on that guy. Yep.
Yeah, you can't. That's fifth-year senior Zach Lindquist. You can't make that mistake.
All the way back now to 2nd and 21.
Mental mistakes will kill you down here in the red zone or just outside of it, and that's just not something you can afford against a team like Wesleyan. Disciplined, athletic, and very physical, and they've done a great job with their scheme defensively so far to limit the Thunder to no points here in the first half, and now they put them in a big hole behind the chains.
Cameron Carter into the game on the high side of Philip Nichols up top. Hanley inside of Carter Roberts underneath. Safety's back off. 2nd and 21. McWilliams steps up, delivers. He's got Hanley just shy of a first down, and boy, that's a confident ball from Curtis McWilliams.
Great throw there. Great throw
ball
there.
And great play by Hanley to make that play.
The pre-snap is what's really impressive. If you watch him before the snap, he's looking to the left side the entire time. He knows he's throwing it to the right. He's getting the safety. He's trying to influence that safety with his pre-snap look. He knows he's got Hanley coming on the dig route, the square end on the right side, which is where he's going to go. He's looking out to the safety's entire pre-snap time to try to influence that.
And here is the Peterson package, but it's the jumbo Peterson package. And with Dallas McCray out, Kevin Park sets up behind some big bodies to the right side. And you can see Wesleyan not quite sure what to do here. No surprises. Peterson has the first down and more across the 20. And again, if you can't get a yard with that package on the field, that is some meat on the right side.
That's just body on body, and really good job by number 99, John Nolan, to almost beat this reach block here at the bottom and make a play in the backfield. But good job by Peterson by waiting, being patient, and just sprinting through that hole and getting the first down and more.
And they're going to stay with the Peterson package here with Jalen Goldsmith And that probably tips you that it's more of a passing play because he's a little bit more of a pass catcher.
Quarterback sweep to the short side.
Especially after Shola's got 2 drops. 1st and 10 from the 16. Doug's got it. That's an option pass, and he got Carter Roberts wide open.
Just catch the ball.
Touchdown, Thunder.
There we go.
Draylen Goldsmith, that's worth mentioning, is a converted quarterback, and that's why he's there. He had a passing touchdown against North Central 2 years ago. He adds one here. That's a great play designed by Jesse Scott and Taylor Graham. That's an easy touchdown for Carter Roberts.
And just a great job by Coach Jesse Scott and Taylor Graham, to your point about him being the passing coordinator. Great job in the confidence that they have and the ability to just unfold the playbook and bring those plays out at the exact right time. It's Peterson run, Peterson run, Peterson run, Peterson run, and then all you have to do is throw that one in there. There wasn't a guy within 10 yards of the receiver for the touchdown. Just a great play by Wheaton to score.
I'm pretty sure if you drew up all the possibilities with that set, the running back throwing a pass wasn't going to be one of them.
Right. Yep.
So that fooled, I think, all of us. And great play design and great execution ties this game up with 8:07 to go. Big momentum changer, something the Thunder needed. Big shot in the arm for their defense, who have lost a couple of players. Dallas McCray being the key one there. They got to come back now and regroup. The special teams got to come down and cover and see if they can get a stop and maybe get another score going into the half.
And obviously this isn't an official update of any kind, but for those of you not here, the ambulance has not left yet, so that I think that's a positive. It means that it's not anything emergent for Dallas McCray, so that's at least some positive news. But you just hope the big guy's okay when it comes to the head. That's something you just got to be very careful with.
Yeah, he's hit. If you weren't watching, his helmet popped off, and he experienced some contact after that happened during the play. They helped him after a time off the field to the ambulance on the side of the field. He's sitting in there in what's undoubtedly a dark room where they're letting him just kind of settle down and assess him. And hopefully he's going to be okay. And if we're lucky, we'll get to see him reappear down on the sideline.
So a little bit of wind down there on the field, blows the ball off the tee. Daniel Gray will reset.
Wesleyan's had very good, well-coached special teams throughout the year, so you got to make sure you pin these guys where you want and stay in your coverage lanes.
Gray, a high kick, and this thing's going to go deep into the end zone. Boy, Daniel Gray got all of that one. Now he does have the wind is blowing left to right, but there was no chance for a return there.
Great boot.
Man.
And boy, you can't say enough about what that drive does for Wheaton, who was kind of looking probably a little bit shell-shocked after you see Callaway come out, you've seen Watson come out, you've seen McCray in the ambulance. That's a shot-in-the-arm drive for this ball club.
Absolutely. I mean, they needed points. They needed their offense to be productive. And now their defense has got to step up, and they've been doing a good job holding this Wesleyan offense to just 7 points so far in this game. And 8 minutes to go. You got to finish the half strong.
First and 10 for Bauer and company, and he will give to Alexander up the middle. Bouncing, and he will get a couple. But again, all of a sudden that defensive line looks like they've got a little extra bounce in their step coming off the ball there. And they hold that to just a 2-yard gain.
And I wouldn't be surprised if Wesleyan just continues to run right at that middle. I mean, they know that that's a depleted unit right now, and I mean, it's up for guys like DeMarte and Theo to really step up and earn yourself some playing time now with some of these guys that have gone down.
Bates, Arifilis, O'Connell, and Hoover are the 4 down guys.
They show press coverage on the corners. 2nd and 7 for Bauer, who will play fake off the handoff and incomplete. Great job by Kennedy, who didn't hesitate one bit on that play fake. And we've got a big 3rd down here for the Thunder, who all of a sudden feeling pretty good about themselves.
I mean, his football IQ is incredible, and when he makes a decision, he's gone. I mean, he's great in cuts, but when he decides, he goes all out, and Bauer wanted nothing to do with Corey Kennedy in his face right there.
And even if he completes that pass, Anthony Ryan was already tackled by the time that ball got to him. He was wrapped up already. It looks like they might have single coverage to the underneath guy. That's the big man at 6'5". They're running him across the middle. Flushed out, pocket collapsing, down he goes! Back at the 24-yard line. Pat O'Connell with the cleanup work, but the defensive ends did a great job not letting him get out of the pocket.
Excellent work, and again, Wheaton disguised this really well. It looked like man-to-man coverage on Healy, but they actually had the safety doubling him, so they jammed him hard, chased him underneath, and had a guy over the top, and that's where he wanted to go. He wasn't there, and then the pocket collapsed. He had nowhere to run.
And that'll bring on the punt unit with Noah Baird. Big opportunity again for Nichols, who almost broke a big one last time. Good snap, running kick here for Baird, still holding on to it.
Oh my,
and
close.
That's a terrible kick for Baird. That's going to check at the 38 and roll right out of bounds. And for a kicker who had done pretty well previously, they mixed it up to no success.
Just no reason, in my opinion, to get cute if you're Wesleyan there. I mean, you're playing the number 4 team in the country to a very tight 7-7 game, and it's a field position battle now, and Wheaton absolutely has the momentum. So to get a punt, that poor of a punt in the starting yard line now is the 40-yard line of Illinois Wesleyan. I mean, Wheaton really has a chance to take control of this game with 6 minutes and 39 seconds left in the first quarter, second quarter.
They certainly have momentum on their side. Is great field position with 6.5 to go. If they can convert here, they got a 3 and out. They did exactly what they need to do. So momentum is swung. See if they can capitalize on it.
Lindquist standing up in the slot inside of Hanley and Nichols. Single high safety for Illinois Wesleyan. They will stretch and play fake. McWilliams all day to the
Big
throw.
guy.
Got it, Lindquist, and that is picked off by the safety at the 7. Room for a return out across the 20, 25, and 30. That's
flag down in the backfield.
That's Trevor Staley with the interception. Lindquist almost looked like he... They're talking to Jones like Jones might be the guilty party of a hold.
That flag was down before. I don't necessarily know. It was in the area where the quarterback was maybe hit. But
yeah, that's Jones on a hold. That's going to be declined. But boy, he had Lindquist open. He tried to lead him. That's one where he's just got to sit him down and drill that between the numbers.
Yeah, you got to put it right on him.
Well, he was open for about 10 yards before that ball was thrown.
And the safety's sitting over the top of that. I mean, Wesleyan's defense, look, Jeff McDonald's a really good defensive coordinator. He's done a fantastic job with personnel and with scheme and putting this Wesleyan defense in the position they're in. And one of the things that he does philosophically is he keeps safeties over the top, and he's done a good job of that they haven't given up very many big plays. So if you're going to get a big play for them, it's going to have to because you earn it, not because they give it to you. They don't make many mistakes from a coverage perspective. They had a deep safety there because they got a big physical defensive front with those linebackers in line, and they feel like they can stop the run without the safety help.
So Wheaton squanders an opportunity with the short field, and they turn it over first play. Kiefer in motion left to right. Play fake for Bauer. Back in the pocket. Steps up over the middle. Incomplete. Had Kiefer wide open and overthrew him. And like we talked about, when you're able to get pressure on Bauer a little bit, the feet speed up. And that's going to be something to keep an eye on here moving forward.
Yeah, when your feet speed up and when your feet get choppy in the pocket, that's when you have a tendency to let the ball float and go high across the middle. And that's where Wheaton just needs to have the presence of mind and the ball hawking skill to just go up there and pick that off.
I'd love to see Hoover and Greenlee in the game at this point. Right now, you got Bates and Arifilis, and Greenlee's in there with O'Connell.
2nd and 10 from the 30. Twins left, split rights to big man Healy. Give to Alexander, and Alexander's got nowhere to go. Stacked up at the line of scrimmage. Maybe even lost a yard and did.
And here comes Hoover for the 3rd down.
And O'Connell. So I think you're going to get what you're asking for here, Doug.
Arifilis comes off the field. Yep. Salvaggio back on. And so the big one here with under 6 minutes left here in the first half.
They're staying with their 4-man defensive line here on this 3rd down. They often go to the nickel, but they're going to stay with the 4-man front here, and with Corey Kennedy able to play that extra safety.
Trips left, split right. Bauer back in the pocket, moving a little bit to the near side. Almost picked off. A great break by Kennedy, intended for Kiefer. And Kennedy, like you... Talking to J.J. Clark earlier, he said we're going to line him up a little bit of everywhere. You're going to see some Patrick Peterson out of him
Great break on the ball, and he sat outside leverage with that slot receiver, which is not an alignment you'd expect as a quarterback receiver. Usually the receiver will signal the quarterback as to what the alignment of the defensive back is. So if he's trying to make that out cut and he sees a guy sitting outside, the signal might be, hey, I'm going to break inside instead, just so you know. And they didn't have that communication. Corey Kennedy sitting on that outside cut based on his alignment makes a great play.
No messing around with it that time, and Wheaton actually brought a rusher off that edge. Nichols steps up, makes the catch in traffic at the 41.
So the Thunder are going to get another chance, albeit not as good a field position at their own 40 with 5:23 to go in a tie game, 7-7. The Thunder striking with the halfback option fat pass from Jalen Goldsmith just 2 series ago to Roberts for the touchdown to tie this thing up after the Titans had scored a first quarter touchdown to take the early lead. Going into halftime, this is critical, these downs right here, because Wesleyan will get the ball coming out of the second half.
Yeah, if you're Wheaton, you need to strike on this drive to take the lead into halftime.
Spencer Peterson is the quarterback here in an empty backfield. Trips to the right side for the Thunder. Checks the defense, stays with what they've got. And now they're going to check again.
Plenty of time on the play clock with about 10 seconds left.
5:23 left here, first half, as Hanley comes jet motion. Play fake, and Peterson rumbling up the middle, breaks the 40 and works his way out to the 43-yard line. But again, this set's so effective because it gives Wheaton a numbers advantage in the rush, and you could see them try to milk this clock for all it's worth and score and not give Illinois Wesleyan any time back to maybe answer before halftime, even though Peterson's coming right back out, and McWilliams and Olateju will take over the backfield duties.
Clock continues to run here. They're going to be probably pretty conservative unless they get the ball on Wesleyan's half of the field, and then they might open it up a little bit.
2nd and 6 from their own 44. McWilliams looking left. Stop route for Carter Roberts. Makes the catch, and he will be pulled out of bounds. He caught that right at the stick. We'll see what the mark is.
He caught it, did?
Yeah, the field judge rushing up to mark that.
Oh, wow. Now
they did not give it to him.
That's a horrible mark.
Yeah, that's a full yard short.
The first mark was generous. The second one was bad.
Wow.
I mean, that's
bringing in the big package.
Really bad.
Yeah, you could see it there in the Realty Executive replay. That camera was looking right down the first down marker, right down the line there. And here comes the jumbo set again. Power right here for Peterson. No surprises. They run right behind it. They've got it and more. Peterson just lowering his shoulder. And again, you'd have to make a pretty special play to stop that.
Yeah,
package.
I mean, you really, it's just meat on meat, and
they're saying stick with it.
Big. Yeah,
look at this.
Stay with it.
Stay with it. Keep this defense on the field and just grind on them here. First down, they want to go fast. Peterson again, running to the right side behind Frazier, has a seam, still going inside the 35, and you might see them just run it again.
Yeah, I mean, it's like you said, it takes a really special play to stop this play in the backfield.
Here we go, right back with it. And they're not. The biggest thing is they're not giving Wesleyan time to change their personnel. They're just going to go to work on the same guys. 1st and 10 all the way down to the Wesleyan 34-yard line. Same play, 3rd time in a row. Peterson again. Flag comes down as Aiken was held by Van Dyke, and that will probably bring the stop to this. But again, 3rd time in a row, they still had 5 yards out of that play. This is going to be 81 right here on the edge on the bottom of the Realty Executives replay, who sure enough grabbed the jersey around the shoulder, didn't even need to, made the block like that he needed. Holding was unnecessary, and it'll be set 1st and 20 back at the 44. But you love just the almost arrogance of this Thunder offense to just say, you know what's coming, and we're going to keep running it until you prove you can stop it.
Well, at this point, they're not worried about the down and distance as much as the field position. They want to get close to the sticks, but if they can get inside that 30, they got a chance for a field goal. And a field goal attempt here with 3:40 to go.
Keep in mind, wind at their back going this direction, so that can stretch Kinnear probably out to 55 or so with his leg. 1st and 20 from the 44. High snap. Give it to Olateju, who drops it, but able to scoop it back up. I think if the snap is there, that play is able to run on time, and Olateju has a hole, but he had to wait for the handoff, never really properly secured it, and by that time, Wesleyan was into the backfield.
You're getting to the point with Hibben where you just have to get that right. I mean, you're in your 2nd game now. You're the key to making this offense go, and if you can't get that down, then that's just a problem.
So especially as you see Curtis McWilliams continue to get more confident there in the pocket. 2nd and 21 from the 45. Again, you probably want another 10 yards to feel comfortable trying a field goal. Play action, coming back to the near side. Carter Roberts has it blocked up 40, trying to get to the inside the 35. He's going to be right back to the original line of scrimmage. Great play call there, and it'll be back to 3rd and 10. And as long as the big thing now for McWilliams is you have to avoid the sack.
Yeah. Great execution there to get good yardage back. So now they're in a position where they can manage it here with 2.5 to go in the half. You know, you'd love to get the first down, but you'd like to get at least 5 yards here on this down. If not, I would venture to say they might actually go for it on 4th down. So they might be thinking 2 downs here as well.
From here, it's a 51-yard try with the wind at its back. Kinnear's got a heavy leg. Good snap. They will bring 5. McWilliams with times drills it into Roberts, who will stretch forward, and it'll be close here. You might see the meat package come in. 4th and a yard here, and sure enough, here comes the beef.
Now they do have a pass off of this package, so you know they're going to come in and weight this thing and see how they line up. I mean, Wesleyan's had 5 looks at this thing to defend it, so I think they kind of know what to look for.
4th and 2, and this is more of a goal line look for Illinois Wesleyan. They're really crowding the line of scrimmage. McWilliams being chased from behind, and he's not going to get there. McWilliams had to tuck that thing up. That's how you beat that play, is bring pressure from the backside. And that time I think it was Wilkie who came untouched around that backside end. Van Dyke was actually running a pass route on that backside play there. If he chips Wilkie at all, that's a first down. Instead, it'll be a Titan first down with 1.5 minutes to play here in the half.
Big play by the Titans. Got to give them credit. You know, they've been very strong in the first half defensively and defending the Thunder, keeping them out. And risky call there, but you know, great job by the Titan defense to stop them. I don't know that Coach Esch is going to be aggressive in this situation, although it wouldn't surprise me if they take a couple shots.
All 3 timeouts left here for the Titans. We thought they called one earlier. I think there was a miscommunication on the sideline there. Bauer, quick slant. It was behind Kiefer, but he makes the catch. Give him 3-4 yards here.
Yeah, that was just a quick injury timeout. They had to get a guy off the field for his helmet coming off.
And they are going to go no huddle here. Quick look from the Titans. 4 wide, split 2 and 2. Healy to the left side against Marcus Smith. He's looking left, going up for Healy, and he overthrew him. And now with just 1:04 left, this Illinois Wesleyan might have backed themselves into a corner as Wheaton was still with 2 timeouts.
Certainly bringing up 3rd down. I mean, I think you got to make them burn a timeout here, but you know, Norm Esch has never been a guy to do conventional things. He's an aggressive play caller, always has been, and it suited him well. He built a great program. So while I think, you know, maybe a draw or some sort of delay or a quarterback draw is another play that's quite prevalent in their offense, it wouldn't surprise me to see him try to throw one down the seam.
See what offensive coordinator Reed Hoskins goes to here for the Titans. 3rd and 7 from their own 30. Wheaton looks like they're bringing pressure. They do not. They just bring 3. Bauer steps up, rolling to the right side, goes underneath. It is completed to number 81, Zach Walsh, who is just across the sticks, and that's when Bauer's at his best, when he can extend the play out of the pocket, and they get 8 when they needed 7.
They're going to use one of their timeouts. Wesleyan with all 3 of them, it looks like. Although I did think they used one in the first quarter, but the board's saying they have 3. They're going to use one here regardless. 57 seconds left in a tie game. Coach Esch is trying to see if he can get some momentum. He knows he gets the ball to start the second half here. The Thunder squandered a couple opportunities. Their most recent one going for it on 4th and 2 with the big package, and Wilkie making a play, chasing him down from behind for no gain when they needed to. And now the Titans trying to gain momentum as they go into the locker room at half.
Yeah, you have a real opportunity if you're IWU. They're gonna get a couple plays called here, heading into a hurry-up offense, and they have a real opportunity here if they put some points on the board to really take control of this game with the ball coming out of halftime. And it's Wheaton needs to they need to respond right now to this momentum shift.
This is high risk, high reward. You are still in your own territory. So anytime you throw the ball in the middle of the field in this situation, you are taking a risk.
No doubt, yep.
And that risk can pay off or it could hurt you. And it's not weighted in your favor. There's a reason most coaches would hand the ball off in this situation. Coach Esch isn't most coaches. He's just more aggressive. Nothing wrong with it.
57 seconds left, 2 timeouts, 1st and 10 from their own 39. Bauer steps back to pass, flushed out of the pocket, dancing and shovels it ahead to the running back, who gets across.
Ball out.
Ball's out. Wheaton's got the football. Oh no, the near side is saying he was down first. And actually the umpire as well saying the same thing.
That was real. To your point, though, that's exactly what you were just talking about, Doug. I mean, that ball looked like it was very close to coming out.
Quickly to the line come the Titans with Bauer. Quick slant to the right side. He has the first down across midfield to the 47-yard line with 30 seconds left, and you're going to continue to see no huddle. But they're into the territory now where you might see them hit the pump fake the short route and look to go over the top. Again, they've recently changed kickers, so they're going to have to get some extra yardage to feel good about the field. Look out, here comes Greenlee, down he goes. Back at the 49, and Esch will use his second timeout with 22 seconds left. Greenlee just worked right around Connor Melvin there for an easy sack.
Just an incredible pass rusher, Chase Greenlee is, and he's been around the quarterback all day. And I mean, if you continue to watch the left tackle for Wesleyan, he's getting just a little bit of a head start. That's a little unnoticeable by. It's probably not going to get the call, but he's taking every opportunity he can to try to get a leg up on Chase Greenlee because he's around the quarterback enough where he's going to get his.
Well, I would too. I mean, Chase Greenlee's a tough block. He's a tough assignment for anybody. If I'm playing offensive line, I would take every advantage I could get too. Connor Melvin's a good player. They're a left tackle. He's a 3-year starter, and that offensive line's a veteran group. But you can't single block Chase Greenlee over the course of a game and not expect him to make a couple of plays. And we've seen that. He's been disruptive on a few plays, and he gets to the quarterback there, the second sack of the half for the Thunder. 22 seconds to go. It's all tied. It's 2nd and long. Again, I wouldn't expect Norm Esch to take the pedal off the metal here. That's just not his style.
Elsewhere around the conference, halftime, Milliken 9-7 over North Park. Halftime, Carthage 34-6 over Carroll. Halftime, Augustana 10-7 over Elmhurst. And it looks like we had a live stat tick up there late in the second quarter, 26-10, North Central over Wash U. 2nd and 14 from their own 49. Bauer going to have to step up again, flushed out of the pocket on a comeback route, and it's complete across the 40 to the 39. And now a timeout called. But was it? It looked like it almost came from the near sideline.
Well, it's got to be.
Wheaton would not have used a timeout.
No,
here.
Titans have got to use it because the clock's going to run and they're not going to get another playoff if they don't take it because they're short of the sticks.
Oh, no, there's a penalty on the play. They had too many men on the field.
Oh.
Illegal substitution against the Titans. Or at least we saw an eligible man downfield. That's what it was.
That's big. That's a big penalty.
That is big. That's going to take away your opportunity unless you're going to try to chuck one up to the tall guy, which they could, which is Healy. But the Thunder are going to have 2 guys on him. They're not going to let him catch the ball without a fight. So we'll see what the play call is here. Again, nothing surprises me with an aggressive Wesleyan offense. Always have been, and we'll see what they do. 15 seconds to go. That's going to put them back. That's a 5-yard penalty.
Yeah, Berg's up second and 19. But there's only 15 seconds left, and you're back to your own 44-yard line at this point. Like you said, though, you're out of timeouts because the clock would have run since the play was a completed pass and stayed in bounds. The clock would have run upon the ball getting set. So if you're the Thunder, I think you obviously roll the coverage to the sideline and force them to complete something in the field of play. And if it's not a first down, Illinois Wesleyan's going to have to hurry to even get another playoff.
I don't think there's any doubt that all of Wheaton's attention is going to be on number 38 and making sure he isn't able to get down the sideline. You have Corey Kennedy over the top of him now, which is a matchup that Wheaton would like. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if they had something, a little slippery here and trying not to, stretch the field, but try to get something, catch Wheaton off guard.
Maybe just a quick out to get the Hail Mary a little bit closer. Bauer climbing the pocket, and it is picked. Oh, boy, I thought Kennedy had a pick at the 35. It's incomplete. Intended for Healy, but over the top. And again, somehow he's managed to overthrow 6'5" 3 or 4 times today.
Yeah, and he's got 1 reception, and the rest of his looks just have not been close.
Well, and if you watch his release, sometimes he gets his body out over his front leg a little bit too far, and the ball trails behind him. It's a little bit like if a pitcher is going to break late on the mound, he's going to lose that pitch high. When you watch that play, his chest comes out over his front leg with the ball trailing behind him. That's pretty tough to put on target. 3rd and 19 here from the 44, 10 seconds left. Bauer will work against the 3-man rush. He's going to the right side and is picked off by Kyle Fox, who will just tiptoe out of bounds with 3 seconds left. Wheaton will probably take a knee here. And we will head to halftime here. Again, stay with us at the halftime. We're going to have the Hall of Honor inductions taking place down at the track.
There is no doubt what Coach Mike Swider will do here.
Right.
There will not be an aggressive play call. They are going to sit on this ball.
Nice job by Kyle Fox there, right where he needed to be. And you could see it. The corners were working on the sideline, not letting them complete something that was going to get out of bounds. So all things considered, if you're the Thunder, you're probably okay here. Seven's feeling pretty good about not trailing 7-7, even though you have missed some opportunities. So we will send this thing to halftime. 7-7 our score in a top 25 battle at McCulley Stadium here on homecoming weekend. Give the Titans a lot of credit. They played a strong first half. Thunder had some opportunities to take the lead, could not take advantage. And we were all even after 30 minutes. We will step aside. Stay with us here. We will have live coverage of the Hall of Honor inductions taking place down on the track here on homecoming weekend. You're watching the Thunder football on Wheaton Thunder Sports Network. Alumni from the classes of 1987, 1992, 1997, 2007, and 2012, returning to celebrate your reunions. A special welcome to over 200 swim team alumni celebrating a special reunion this weekend in honor of longtime coach John Lederhaus. Welcome home, Wheaton alumni. Every year, the Alumni Association Board of Directors honors alumni who have served Wheaton College with distinction through service to campus life, students, and to the college as a whole. At this time, please direct your attention to the track where President Reichen, Alumni Association Board President Renee Schauer, and Executive Director Sindra Stackhouse-Tate will recognize the 2017 Alumni of the Year awardee, Dr. Kathleen Kastner. For 45 years, Wheaton students and alumni have looked to 1971 graduate Dr. Kathleen Kastner for both musical and personal mentorship. Many of you will recognize Dr. Kastner if she taught your music appreciation class. As a result of extensive travel and study, Dr. Kastner has introduced students to music from all over the world, as well as unlocking the complexities of 20th century music for conservatory students. Through her solo recitals and percussion ensemble concerts, audiences have been exposed to innovative approaches to musical expression. Most importantly, she has invested much time listening to and praying with students and encouraging them in their personal and spiritual journeys. Please join us in congratulating the 2017 Alumna of the Year for Distinguished Service to Alma Mater, Dr. Kathleen Kastner. This weekend, more than 200 alumni of Wheaton Swimming have returned to campus as we celebrate 50 years of the men's swimming program and 40 years of women's swimming at Wheaton College. A special welcome to all swimming alums that have returned for this special event. At this time, we would like to recognize John Lederhaus, a 1974 graduate of Wheaton College. At the conclusion of the 2016-17 school year, John retired after 41 years as Wheaton's head men's and women's swimming coach. We are grateful for John's work as a superb coach, mentor, and leader in his prolific career. He guided Wheaton to 49 College Conference of Illinois and Wisconsin championships and numerous top 10 national finishes in his tenure. Equally important, he has been an outstanding Christian leader and mentor to his many student athletes. This summer, the Krauser Natatorium, the home of Wheaton College swimming since 1981, has been renamed the Jonathan Lederhaus Natatorium to honor his accomplishments at Wheaton. At this time, President Riken is presenting Coach Lederhaus with a plaque identical to the one that will be at Lederhaus Natatorium, signifying John Lederhaus and his accomplishments. Ladies and gentlemen, John Lederhaus. Now, Athletics Director Julie Davis will present the Wheaton Athletics Service Award to Don Holwerda, a 1969 graduate of Wheaton College. Created in 2017, Don is just the third honoree of the Wheaton Athletics Service Award. The award honors those that have volunteered and served Wheaton Athletics through the years. Recipients of the award have provided distinguished service in a non-paid support or coaching role for Wheaton College athletics over several years. Don Holwerda volunteered as an assistant swim coach at Wheaton for 36 years. As a coach, Don specialized in coaching the backstroke as he guided numerous swimmers to multiple CCIW finals, CCIW championships, and NCAA All-American honors in that stroke. Prior to joining as a volunteer assistant coach in 1981, he served as Wheaton's head swimming coach from 1970 until 1972. In addition to his work as a volunteer with the swim program, Don volunteered as the clock and scoreboard operator at Wheaton's home football games from 1981 until 2006. Ladies and gentlemen, Don Holwerda. At this time, we would like to honor this year's inductees into the Wheaton College Athletic Department's Hall of Honor. The Hall of Honor is dedicated to recognizing former players, teams, and coaches who have made a significant contribution to Wheaton athletics. More information on this year's inductees can be found in today's game day football program, available at the entrance to McCulley Stadium. At this time, Wheaton College President Philip Riken and Athletic Director Julie Davis will congratulate each of today's inductees. Our first honoree is Tony Ladd. Dr. Tony Ladd served as the athletics director at Wheaton from 1983 until his retirement in 2011. During his 28-year span overseeing the athletics department, Wheaton won 5 NCAA Division III national championships and 15 individual national championships. In that time, Wheaton programs participated in multiple NCAA championship events in 18 different sports. Wheaton athletic programs won 127 CCIW championships during Ladd's tenure, with 67 conference titles in women's sports and 60 CCIW crowns in men's sports. Following his retirement from Wheaton in 2011, Ladd returned to athletics in May of 2012 when he began a 4-year tenure as Director of Athletics at Trinity International University. He and his wife Linda currently live in Mundelein, Illinois. The couple has 3 children and 4 grandchildren. Dr. Tony Ladd. Our second honoree today is Jason Senek. Jason Senek was a 4-year letter winner for the Wheaton men's basketball program, and he played a vital role in the program's resurgence in the early and mid-1990s. He helped lead Wheaton to 46 victories in his junior and senior seasons. He was a team captain for the 1995-96 Wheaton squad that compiled a 25-2 record, achieving a number 1 ranking in Division III and won the program's first CCIW title in 37 years. Jason was a 2-time All-CCIW performer, and in 1995-96 he was an honorable mention All-Midwest Region performer. In 1994-95 he shot 50% from 3-point range to set a school single-season record that still stands today. Jason resides in San Clemente, California with his wife Carrie Lynn and their son Brenner Lewis. Jason Senek. Our next honoree is Kelly Stewart Thorpe, a 2002 Wheaton graduate. Kelly Stewart won a pair of titles at the 2000 NCAA Division III Women's Swimming and Diving Championships. She helped lead Wheaton to 4 top 10 finishes at nationals in her career, including a 5th place finish at the Division III Championships in 2000. In 2000, she won national championships in the 50-yard freestyle and the 200-yard freestyle, and was runner-up in the 100-yard freestyle. In her decorated career, she picked up All-American honors in 7 different events. At the time of her graduation, Kelly held the Wheaton records in the 50 free, 100 free, and 200 freestyle, and was on 5 school record-setting relays. Kelly and her husband Joel reside in Indianapolis with their children Camille and Juliet. Kelly Stewart Thorpe. Our final individual inductee is Kristen Titcomb. A 2002 Wheaton graduate, Kristen was a 4-time NCAA Division III All-American in the 100-yard breaststroke. Her highest finish at nationals in the event came in 2002 when she placed 3rd. A 3-time All-American in the 200-yard breaststroke, she placed as high as 5th at the 2001 Division III Championships. She also was a member of All-American relay units in the 200-yard and 400-yard medley relay in her career. Kristen won the 100-yard and 200-yard breaststroke events at the 1999 CCIW Women's Swimming Championships, setting a conference record in the 100-yard breaststroke. At the time of her graduation, Kristen held the Wheaton records in the 100-yard breaststroke and the 200-yard breaststrokes. Today, Kristen resides in the Middle East. Kristen Titcomb. Our next group of honorees for the 2017 Wheaton College Hall of Honor is the 2007 Wheaton College women's soccer team. Wheaton won its 3rd NCAA Division III National Championship in 4 seasons in 2007. The Thunder won the title in style with a 27-0 overall record for the year, a Division III record for wins in a single season that still stands 10 years later. Wheaton's unblemished record was part of the program's 48-match win streak from September 26 of 2006 until September 13 of 2008. That is the second longest win streak in Division III history. The members of the 2007 Thunder soccer team that have returned to campus are Bethany Barton Massey, Brittany Berg Stearns, Kira Davis Wheeler, Maria De La Torre Salvaggio, Catherine Drevitz, Ingrid Erickson, Liz Fazio Wright, Kelly Foltz Alas, Mary Beth Grove Webb, Erin Hodina DeClute, Carrie Kleinstroh Redden, Lauren Lindner Anderson, Sarah Moore, Justine Morey, Rebecca Oliver Field, Libby Pasialis, Haley Partain Ravenscraft. Sarah Richardson March. Assistant coach Cesar Gomez. Head coach Pete Felsky. Ladies and gentlemen, the 2007 Wheaton College women's soccer team. Please give each of our inductees a round of applause. A reminder that there is a post-game reception to honor our 2017 Hall of Honor inductees following the football game. The reception will be held in the lobby of King Arena in the Krauser Sports Complex and begins immediately following the football game. The 2007 Thunder women's soccer team will also be honored at halftime of today's women's soccer game against North Park that starts at 4:30 p.m. at Joe Bean Stadium.
Like when I close my eyes and don't even care if anyone sees me dancing. Like I can fly and I don't even think of touching the ground. Like a heartbeat skip, like an open page, like a one-way trip on an aeroplane. It's the way that I feel when I'm with you. Brand new. Like when I close my eyes and don't even care if anyone sees me dancing. Like I can fly and I don't even think of touching the ground. Like a heartbeat skip, like an open page, like a one-way trip on an aeroplane. It's the way that I feel when I'm with you. Brand new.
Hi, I'm Nate Brown. College will be one of the most transformational experiences in your life. My education in the context of a Christian community helps shape the way I live and engage the world around me. I love that Wheaton relates Christian liberal arts to the needs of contemporary society. The classes are designed to combine faith and learning, giving you a biblical perspective that's accessible and applicable. Wheaton students are challenged to answer questions like, what does it mean to live as a Christian doctor, engineer, or business professional? Being in an environment with other students and faculty who are passionate about their faith and serious about their education will help you to know who you are in Christ and prepare you to go wherever He leads you. I look forward to helping you find your way to Wheaton. Talk to you soon.
Welcome back here to McCauley Stadium, where Wheaton is tied with Illinois Wesleyan 7-7 on homecoming weekend here on the campus of Wheaton College with Doug Rothschild, Dan Studebaker, Nate Stein down on the field. I'm Rusty Lindsay. Thanks for joining us here on a beautiful day for football. Obviously, we've got a tie score 7-7, but as you look at the stats, it's obviously a little bit of what we expected. This is going to be a tough game on both sides of the ball. It's against a talented Illinois Wesleyan team, and the stats reflect that.
Absolutely. You know, you look down the stats and they look fairly balanced. A couple things stick out to you, but for the most part they look balanced, and the difference in the game is really just about one side making a few more plays. Particularly the Wesleyan defense has made a few plays, and when they needed to, as well as convert a few third downs. So you look down the stats, and Wheaton ran 38 total plays for 190 yards. In the running game, just 20 rushes for just 35 yards. Wesleyan doing a great job against this vaunted Wheaton rushing attack, but I would assume that Wheaton is going to stay committed to that in the second half. Curtis McWilliams, 13 of 16 for 139 yards. He was sacked twice, a long of 20. He was intercepted once. Jalen Goldsmith threw the one option pass for the touchdown, 1 of 1, 16 yards, and the touchdown. Carter Roberts, 6 catches for 51 yards. Philip Nichols, 3 for 48. Trey Hanley, 2 for 36. Zach Lindquist, 2 for 13. In the running game, Spencer Peterson, 5 carries for 29 yards in the big package. Sola Olateju, 10 carries for 26 net yards, 2.6 yards per rush. I would assume they're going to get him going in the second half. The Titans ran 36 plays, just 2 less than the Thunder, for 135 yards. 15 carries for 47 yards. Morgan Alexander leading the charge, 13 for 56. He had a long of 28 and the 1 touchdown. In the passing game, Brandon Bauer just 9 of 20 with an interception, 88 yards. He was sacked twice. Liam Kiefer, 5 catches for 43. Jack Healy, just 1 catch. Zach Walsh, 1 for 9. Dean Zagulich, 1 for 8. On the defensive side, the Thunder were led by Eric Stevenson with 8 hits. Luke Solly with 6. Corey Kennedy with 4. Greenlee with 4 and 1.5 for loss. Quentin Walters, the leading tackler for the Titans, with 8 tackles.
We each caught up on some top 25 scores here as Wheaton has this ball teed off to kick right to left. Bo is going to bounce this thing at the 20, stays in bounds. I think Wheaton's got the football.
Nope.
Wow. There's no flag.
It just bounced off of him. He couldn't quite catch the boy. That was.
And now a flag comes out. Now, if Wheaton touches that ball in bounds, that should not be an offside penalty. If that's
right.
Now they are conversing, and while they converse, we'll look at the top 25 scores. Mount
There's
Union.
a player down on the sideline. Sorry to cut you off, Rusty, but number 6, special teamer for Wesleyan.
That's
down.
the returner and corner, Quentin Walters.
That'd be a big loss for Wesleyan.
Yeah, Walters was the returner there, and there you see there's no foul because Wheaton touched the ball first, and they're going to have to take care of him on the Wheaton sideline. So with that, we'll go around the nation here. In the top 25, Mount Union 37-7 over Ohio Northern. Oshkosh leads Whitewater 13-0. Halftime, we mentioned North Central leading WashU 29-10. Augsburg 36-13. St. Thomas over Augsburg 36-13 at halftime. St. John's 14 14-9 over Bethel in the middle of the third quarter. Delaware Valley ranked number 10, 60-7 over FDU Florham. Platteville tied with Stout in the other top 25 matchup this week, 7-7 in the first quarter. Ursinus 21-17 over Johns Hopkins. We'll keep that one. That's with under a minute to go, so Johns Hopkins may be victim of the upset there. Wittenberg against Denison tonight. Cortland 28-24 over Brockport, looking for another upset there. St. Washington and Jefferson tonight against Steele. Number 18, Case Western Reserve, 35-14 over St. Vincent. Alfred over Buffalo State, 21-3. Concordia Moorhead trailing Gustavus Adolphus at halftime, 14-10. Wesley, 49-0 over Southern Virginia. Heidelberg comfortably over Muskingum, and Wabash, 33-28 with a minute and a half left against Worcester. Around the conference, at halftime, Milliken over North Park, it's 9-7. Carthage over Carroll, 34-6. Augie, 17-7, middle of the third quarter over Elmhurst. As the Vikings trying to get their first win of the year, not much has gone right in Rock Island this season.
No, for Augie, they have not played well at all, and they're hoping to get their a win today down at Rock Island in a game that they should be able to win.
So that was the cornerback. That was Quentin Walters, who was the returner, who had to be carried off the field. No weight being put on that leg, and it was kind of tough to see what might have happened to him.
And so did this end up being a penalty?
They waved off. There was no penalty.
I don't understand why the ball's being placed where it is. That's not where it went out of bounds.
Yeah, that doesn't make any sense. You're seeing a lot of frustration from the Wheaton sideline, so maybe they did rule it was out of bounds. They give to Alexander on the first play. He dances out of one tackle and into the arms of another. Kennedy in there along with O'Connell and also Eric Stevenson. That's going to be the big matchup to watch, as can Illinois Wesleyan continue to have a little bit of success with the running game, but enough to keep that play-action game open.
Yeah, I think they're going to continue trying it because, as we've talked about, the Wheaton interior defensive line is a bit depleted, and they have had a little bit of success with that, but these are both two well-coached football teams, and the adjustments at halftime may start to expose.
47 yards rushing at halftime for the Titans. That's close to the most Wheaton's given up in a game this year. Alexander again running right, and that hole closes in a hurry. DeMarte Arifilis coming down the line makes a big play, and now Alexander slow to get up for the Titans.
This game has been like a heavyweight fight and a battle of attrition. Just one name player after another going to the bench. The Titans have lost Appel, their starting tight end, and now Walters are starting corner. The Thunder lost Stone Watson and Dallas McCray, and it's just going to be a battle of who could stay healthy and make enough plays in this game.
Yeah, and great job by DeMarte Arifilis to step up on that play, come down the line, beat the reach block, run horizontally, and make a play for a tackle for loss.
Big third down here.
Trips left, 3rd and 10. Wheaton brings pressure. Bauer steps into the throw looking for Healy. It's incomplete. No flags come down. Great coverage from Marcus Smith, and the Wheaton defense comes up with a huge 3-and-out to start the half.
Just a great start to the second half for Wheaton's defense, and you got to feel like if you're Wesleyan coming out of the gate, you wanted to gouge some yards and try to get back into Wheaton's territory, but just a really good start for Wheaton's defense.
They have Brandon Bauer confused because they brought pressure. They showed bump and run man. He thought he had single coverage, but Marcus Williams on the corner is able to play aggressively because they're bringing safety help every time over Healy. So going to him is not going to be the option. They're double teaming him even when they blitz.
Yeah, he will not see double or single coverage one time in this game.
Wheaton brings a little pressure at this one. Nichols with the wind at the back of the punt. Back pedals outside the 20. Dodges one, gets out across the 20, and takes a big hit at the end of that play. That's for the emphasis that we're have to be put on targeting. That was a lot of the crown of the helmet there.
That looked like a spear to me. The guy led with his helmet, directly helmet-to-helmet contact. Now the player's a runner, but he
had
a
head down.
That's a 15-yard penalty that the refs missed.
And an ejection, I believe, with the targeting penalties this year. 1st and 10 from their own 20. Nichols outside of Hanley to the right side. And again, Dan, like you mentioned with the big injury early on to Dallas McCray, the ambulance is still here. So they're not seeing anything that merits the need to take the big fella to the hospital.
Great job by Wheaton's offensive line to sit there and almost inside a jump twice.
Here's Olateju bouncing to the near side, stiff arms one, steps out another, 25-30 and angling out of bounds. And Shola Olateju continues to seek out contact as he looked like he took a late hit out of bounds too, but he just continues to bounce off guys. And you saw the Thunder defense pretty pumped up about that one. O'Connell bounced off the bench to go give the big fella some love after that one.
Great run there, and this is they're gonna try to ride Olateju here. He's been their guy, and the second half is where they've made a fair amount of ground on the running game, and I think they're going to stay committed to it.
Zach Lindquist motions down to the line. He stays standing, though. Olateju will run behind him.
He's got a lot of blockers.
At 45 and to the 47, and that's another first down. And, Dan, you've mentioned it before this season. Scholl's a volume carrier.
Absolutely.
He just gets better and better the more he touches the football. And with Stone Watson out, I think you're going to see a lot of 23 here in the second half.
Yeah, Scholl was the type of guy, he had 26 yards rushing in the first half with 2.6 yards per carry, but, just like that, he's probably up over 4 again. And he's just the guy that you just continue to give him the ball, and he's going to break a big one at some point.
Last week, struggled in the first half and ended up near 100 yards as well. 1st and 10 out to the 46 after 2 consecutive first down runs from Olateju. He gets it again, has a hole, dancing across the 45, and then run down at the 47. Well, this has really been Wheaton's strength all year long, has been this offensive line gets better and better and just wears on defenses in the second half.
That's a terrible spot.
How are they marking it as a 1-yard loss?
That's a terrible spot.
He went out of bounds at the... I don't understand that.
And the box is off, too. The box is marking his forward progress. The officials have it as no gain. That's the second time we've seen a mark off by over a yard in this game.
Wow.
And I'm sure that official's getting an earful from a Wheaton assistant there on the near side. Here's T.J. Williams, left side, tries to cut it in. He'll get back to where Shola was tackled last time. They should have been running this play from, and it'll be 3rd and 8. And Shola right back into the game along with Carter Roberts.
Again.
Nichols limping off the field here with a little bit of an ankle.
Seems to be okay, though, turning away the medical attention. Cameron Carter will go to the high side up top, 3rd and 8. For whatever reason, the play clock's still not running.
Brenton Wilkie going off with his arm kind of hanging a little bit, and the trainer's going to take a look at him on the sideline again. This is a hard-hitting game with a lot of guys putting a lot into this. Both sides have prepared tremendously for this game and this incredible knockout game.
Ryan Swift is his backup on 3rd and 8. McWilliams back to the near side. Boy, he drilled in a nice ball to Carter Roberts there. That ball was thrown before Roberts turned around, and that was the knock we put on McWilliams early, was that the timing routes aren't there. He's throwing them late. That's what you need to see from your quarterback.
Yeah, you want to see your quarterback throwing to routes, not players, and that was a great example of it right there, where Roberts hadn't finished his route yet, but McWilliams was confident in his throw and just threw a BB on the sideline, and Roberts comes back and makes the play. Just a great catch and throw.
A couple of first downs here for the Thunder, getting something going.
And you got to love it if you're the Thunder. You're seeing the confidence of Curtis McWilliams getting higher every play. He's going deep down the sidelines, got a man there. It was Roberts running stride for stride.
And man, that was very, very, very close to a sack fumble. McWilliams got that off just in time right here.
There it is on the Realty Executives replay. That was a corner blitz. Trevor Koepke coming off the edge almost got there. And there you're seeing they're going at Eric Leiser, who's the backup, because Quentin Walters is out.
And they brought a pretty nice scheme there. You saw a twist between the tackle and the defensive end where the defensive tackle comes around. Andrew Jones did a great job of picking it up, but then comes the corner, and it just creates a mismatch.
2nd and 10 from the 39-yard line. Wheaton will slow play this one, just checking to see if Wesleyan has tipped their hand at all. Olateju backs up a little bit. McWilliams drops under center. Play clock's at 5. 2nd and 10. They will give Olateja right up the middle. Huge hole, and it closes quickly, but he gets 3 yards, and it'll be 3rd and 6 here for the Thunder.
Yeah, they saw the blitz, and they know against blitz you're going to lose a linebacker who's able to slide over, and so they picked that spot. Great job there. Good job by the defense coming off. It looks like Hassan just came from the weak side, slid into that hole to keep it from being a much bigger run, but it does bring up 3rd and manageable. You got a 3rd and 6 here in what might be considered 4-down territory for the Thunder.
Wheaton's going into the wind, so the long field goal is out of the question.
And Brenton Wilkie is back into the game at middle linebacker, outside linebacker for the Titans.
3rd and 6 here from the 35. Olateja on the left hip of McWilliams. They will just rush 4. He steps into the route, going on the out to Nichols, incomplete. Actually, that's Hanley. Just a little too high.
Nice job by the Wesleyan defense, getting a little pressure in here. Urbanski coming in from the end spot to make him throw it a little bit quicker than he wanted to.
That's the 2nd time Andrew Jones has been beat on that inside move. Jones was in position to stonewall him, and then got beat on the inside move.
And they're going to punt.
Yeah, Mike Swider's going to play the field position game. I think especially with Illinois Wesleyan having to win at their back this quarter. Force them to put together a long drive.
Well, Mike's a very conservative guy. He believes in the field position game. He's got a good defense. He's got a tie game. Pin these guys deep. Make Brandon Bauer make a mistake and see if you can capitalize on it.
Fedler's been excellent in these situations. This one is going to be knocked down. Great play. Knocked down at the 3.
That's why you do it.
That's it. That's just a great play.
You have one of the top defenses in the country. You got a good punter. You got a chance to pin them inside the 10. In this case, they get it to 3. So now your defense has got a chance to pin them. You get a punt here. Best case scenario, you get a punt, and you get good field position to start it over again.
That's Jordan Frisbee, and maybe the smartest thing he did was not try to catch it, just let it fall. Now that you've established the touch there, because he was still kind of falling backwards near the goal line.
Yeah, he just kind of let it fall to the ground and just backed off of it so that he wouldn't touch it.
Yeah, that's smart.
Just a great play.
Now, most teams, again, as we've mentioned, would be conservative here. That's not necessarily Normesh's style. He likes to attack the outside zones here if he thinks you're going to be in a soft zone coverage, or he might run it.
This will be a run to Alexander right up the middle, crosses the 5, breaks out of a tackle across the 10, and gets to the 15. So just like that, the Titans off their own goal line with an 11-yard run by Morgan Alexander. And now we've got a lineman down, and that's the big fella, Mike Mulcrone. That's the all-conference center. And he looks to be...
I think he just took a shot.
I think that's the 5-minute flu for Mulcrone.
That's right.
Yeah, he went out earlier, but that was just through a lost helmet, and he came right back on. Now his right shoulder's hanging a little bit, his right arm, so we hope that he's okay.
I believe it's the placement of the right arm that is the reason for that injury.
Gotcha.
So 1st and 10, though, for the Titans at the 16-yard line, and now you can open up the playbook a little bit, and you've got a wildcat look here. Actually, it's correction, you've got 2 backs on the hips of Bowers. Now the tight end moves. That's Anthony Ryan to the right side. Bowers going to play fake and stand in the pocket with time, looking to the right side, looking for Healy. It's complete. Marcus Smith comes downhill quickly, but it's enough for a first down to the 37-yard line.
And Coach Esch has got something going here. He sees that they're turning and playing a soft coverage. You can get those out cuts and those just chip away at it, and that's how they move the ball down the field before half. And he's going to be content to take those type of cuts, whether it's the slot receiver breaking out to the flat or the outside receiver just running a press kind of hook or comeback. Keep moving the chains. They've come off the shadow of their own goal line. Nice play calling by Coach Norm Esch.
So 1st and 10 to the 27 here. 3 wide to the left, 1 to the right. Slow handoff, and now it's to Alexander, bouncing to the near side, zigzagging across the 30 to the 31. Gain of 5 on the draw. And Mulcrone continues to be out here for the Titans. And maybe showing why that snap was a little bit of a changeup back there from Kyle Cook, who's a junior backup out of Maine West.
And you got Salvaggio and O'Connell at the tackles. Really good players. They just got to come off those blocks and squeeze those lanes on that draw play.
Bates and Greenlee, the 2 defensive ends here. 2nd and 5 from the 32. That's Zagulich motion into the slot left. Alexander again running behind Cook, the center, and that is shut down by Solly. Ooh. A violent hit by Luke Solly and a big 3rd down coming up.
And he just beat the block of the tight end, Ryan, and came around and just put the helmet on him. Great job. Actually, he beat the block of the pulling lineman. even more impressive, he comes and just defeats that block of Chris Collins, the right guard, and gets that tackle for loss. Very nice play by Luke Solly.
It's really difficult to come off a block, especially when a guy has got you by 50 or 60 pounds. But to come off that block and lay a hit to stand him up for no gain is just an impressive feat.
Big third down. Haven't seen the screen from Wesleyan. It's something they're known for in this situation.
Ryan motions to the left. Pocket collapses. Down he goes. Well, maybe not yet. They're standing him up. Hoover ripping at the football.
Ball's out.
It did come out. The lineman for Wesleyan picked it up, though. Hoover did a nice job realizing that they had stopped his progress. And once again, that's a four-man rush. And that was Theo Salvaggio, who actually ends up coming up the middle, defeating the block, and wrapping up Bauer for his second sack in as many weeks. There you see it on the Realty Executives replay.
Yeah, and having a conversation with my brother at the beginning of the season when he first got here, he's very impressed with Theo Salvaggio's pass rushing skills. He's just always been a guy that, he's had the misfortune of being buried in a deep unit, but here he is getting a chance to play.
Nichols comes up, makes a fair catch at the 44-ish yard line. So this is going to be an opportunity for the Thunder. 6:44 left here, third quarter. On a short field, got to start to look for some points here and try to take the lead. They've been playing at least even. They have not led in this game.
Yeah, their special teams have been giving them chances. In each of these cases, they've gotten good field position. They just haven't done enough to get the ball down the field. And credit the Titan defense. They've had a good plan. They've been conservative. They stayed with two high safeties to keep from the big play. And their guys up front are winning the battle at the line of scrimmage for the most part. The last drive, you saw a couple of Shola Olateju runs, and we'll see if that can continue with this two tight end look.
1st and 10 from the 44. Olateju, the lone back, splits left and right. They will give Olateju behind a pullback from Lindquist. Bounces to the outside across midfield, looking for the big one, and he tiptoes out of bounds. A lot of Titans around his heels, but he will stay upright. 8-yard run on first down, and Wheaton's across midfield.
Again, you can get 7-8 yards on first down. You just want to keep doing that. And they've been in a two tight end look the Thunder have for a majority of this game. And over the course of time, if you're a running team with this kind of identity, you're going to believe that you're going to wear these guys down at some point. You're starting to see those 1- and 2-yard runs be 4-, 5-, and 6-yard runs. And if you keep doing that, your philosophy is going to be that that's going to continue.
Yeah, your defense is coming off the ball a little bit slower, and those smaller gaps starting to widen, and then you get a guy like Shola who just blasts through it.
Lindquist motions left. They will give to Olateju, running left behind Callaway. Tucks it up behind the guard. Big hit right at the first down sticks. He's going to be about half a yard short.
That's another really bad mark. It's like these officials, I mean, they got to pay attention. It's not that hard to figure the mark.
The line judge is a full yard off from where the guy in the middle is calling for the football. They are a full yard apart. Yeah, we have seen some atrocious ball marks here. And now I think they're going to talk and figure it out, because the mark in the center of the field was, like we said, a yard farther than where the linesman put it.
And enough for the first down.
Yeah, I don't know why we're even looking at this. From where he put the ball, it's a full yard short. But from where the umpire was ready to accept it in the middle of the field.
That's brutal. That's just brutal.
The Thunder have got to be able to overcome these kind of things, and here comes the big package. Remember, they got chased down on 4th down, and the last time they ran this play, they do have a couple other looks off this, but by all appearances, this is a run to the right.
And again, we're looking right down the barrel of the gun here, as this is Peterson to the right. They did a nice job bringing everybody right at that play. That's a loss of 2, and they're going to have to punt.
I don't understand. I mean, these guys are good players too. The Titans have some good players on defense. You run the same play at them in the same situation 6 times in a row, and they've stopped at the last 2. So
you have
other things in. Well, you have other things in that package besides that big package. I'm fine with the Spencer Peterson package. You have some jet sweep looks, some off tackle looks, some quarterback sweep looks. You got to run something else, because they're going to stop that play after they've seen it 6 times.
Again, that was Chance Hilliard who defeated Jake Hibben and really blew that play up. 4th and 3 from the 49. Fedler handles the snap. It's a wobbling punt down the left sideline. That's not going to go anywhere. That's going to be out of bounds. Or actually, it's down at the 25. So his first punt attempt of the second half was excellent. This one not great from Fedler, who looked like he rushed it because the snap took him off his mark.
Well, the Thunder got to keep playing here. Just keep playing. You know, they got to play a little bit better than they did in the first half. So far, the defense has done a good job. But so far, offensively, they just haven't been able to get anything going against this Wesleyan defense that's been as good as advertised. We knew they were good coming in, and they've done a great job holding the Thunder to 7 points. The Wheaton defense equally as impressive, holding this Titan offense to 7.
Twins right split to the left side for the Titans. Ball on the left hash. Tight end now motioning to the left side. Play fake off Alexander. Bauer looking to the out. It is complete to Kiefer, even though Kennedy had trying to wrestle that ball away from him at the last minute.
That's a nice throw there by Bauer. Again, planted his foot and throw just right over the head of Kennedy. Good job by Kiefer to keep his hands up and hold on to that ball and just squeeze it, because Kennedy then tried to rip it out.
Yeah, that ball is driven from Bauer. That's an impressive throw from the sophomore.
And that's what he can do. When he does that, their offense can move the chains because they got some players. He just has not been that accurate today. He's been very streaky, but when he throws a ball like that, Wesleyan can do some things.
Bauer's a guy who supplanted Jack Warner when he got hurt at the beginning of last year and has not let Warner take his job back. Warner was a guy who threw for over 2,000 yards the year as a starter. As here's Alexander with a 3-yard run on first down, tackled just shy of midfield. But Bauer has not given the senior even, Warner, a chance to win his spot back. There's that same play that Alexander took for a touchdown earlier in the game. They pull Maroney, and he looks to crack that thing back around the center. This time it's only 49, ball on their own 49-yard line as we go 3:45 to play here in the third quarter. 7-7 game. Titans scored first. Wheaton answered late in the second quarter, and that's where we stand, 7-7. Alexander again, no play fake for Bauer, and it's dropped. Threw it low to the tight end. He took a shot from Kennedy as he delivered the ball, and it'll be a big third down here.
Big third down here. 3:29 to go in the third. Still 7-7 game. All the scoring in the first half. The Titans scored early in the first quarter. The Thunder answered with the option passed in the second quarter. And here we sit 2/3 of the way through the third quarter in a tie game and in what's been a heavyweight championship bout. And we're going to see who's going to flinch first here. It's going to come down to who can be more consistent down the stretch.
Yeah, this is probably the biggest third down of the game. Wheaton has to get off the field, and if IWU connects on this, the momentum shifts big time in their favor.
4 wide receivers for the Titans. Bauer faces a blitz, trying to escape the pocket, and does. Look out, he's scrambling to his left, and his flag comes down late, and Wheaton's going to get a holding penalty.
Either that or they got a couple linemen that are over the line of scrimmage.
Boy, that's a break there. A nice job by Bauer to extend the play and move to his left. Yeah, you're right. You had the center looked like was working almost 5 yards downfield there for the Titans. We'll see if it's a hold. Well, Crone's back in the game for the Titans, so that's good for Illinois Wesleyan. It's a hold.
Big break for Wheaton.
Yeah, that's a big break. Instead of the first down, now you're going to come up with 3rd and 15. Now here again, Bauer's done a good job, and he did even on that play of just breaking contain with his feet. And the ends are doing a good job coming upfield. It's the tackles that have got to squeeze the pocket. He's finding those gaps between the tackle and the end. The tackles are being kept on the line of scrimmage. The ends are getting upfield, and that gap is where Bauer's been able to escape. The tackles have got to get more penetration and push those guys back to collapse that pocket a little more.
And Wheaton into the nickel here with Hoover and Greenlee on the end. So this is where you'd like to see your defensive end pin their ears back and really get after the quarterback.
They're coming in a delayed blitz. Here he comes. Here comes Greenlee. Brings him down back at the 30. Greenlee with a long rush, and he grabs just enough of him to bring him down from behind.
Man, that kid is just an unbelievable pass rusher. Even in the face of on his way to the ground, he has the presence of mind to keep his feet chopping and have an efficient dive, right? Not just like a layout to try to get him, but grabs at the feet and just doesn't let go.
Grabbed enough to even swim the knee. Even nowhere to go for Bauer. That's Greenlee's 6th sack of the year as he is climbing on Wheaton's all-time sack list.
Really impressive play. That kid, he's got such a great motor.
And Baird spiraling punt. Nichols will have room. Catches it at the 25. Got room to the right. And nice job by Wesleyan. And again, that's the freshman linebacker, Keenan Scott, with an impressive hit. But we've got a flag now, right around the point of the tackle.
They had him up around the neck on the tackle.
I think you may have horse collar because you've got Nichols coming back, or a face mask perhaps. You've got Nichols coming back, pulling his jersey back because his pads were down over his jersey.
Flags were simultaneous, so you'd have to think they've got the same penalty. But a whole lot of conversation, and Illinois Wesleyan seems to be pleased with what they overheard. Holding is the call.
And now that flips the field a little bit in Wesleyan's favor, pinning the Thunder back inside their own 20. And the Thunder have got to get some consistency on offense. They've been sporadic. At times they've run the ball. They've made a couple of good completions, and they just haven't been able to put a drive together. Again, a lot of that's due to the fact that Wesleyan is playing great defense, very conservative in terms of their play calling, just trusting their athletes, and they got a big front, physical front, and athletic linebackers, and well-coached, good tackling secondary. They really have an outstanding defense.
Yeah, and the chess match continues.
We'll check in with Nate Stein here on the sideline after first down. McWilliams drops it off to Olateju, makes the catch, spinning out of a tackle across the 20. And with that, we'll go down the sideline. Nate, seems like this has really been almost a war of attrition. A lot of injuries on either side. Wheaton kind of had to handle a couple blows in the first half. What seems to be the feeling on the Thunder sideline right now?
Well, Russ, you're exactly right. It is a war of attrition down here, and nobody can really seem to get into a groove. We thought we saw the beginning of that when Olateju took the first 2 touches of the last drive for first downs. He does seem to be more comfortable here in the second half, but the Thunder still just trying to get anything going on the offensive end.
Spencer Peterson back into the game here on 2nd and 5 from the 22. Motion comes from Hanley. They will keep Peterson on a sweep to the right. They've got numbers on the blocking, but a nice play by the Titans to defeat the blocks. That's Wilkie who makes the play.
Well, Jordan Hassan did a great job coming inside out on that, and that's the block that pulling lineman, I think it's Braden Parker or it's Callaway right there. He has got to get that, but Spencer Peterson's got to set that block up for him. Spencer was trying to run for the sticks. If he's a little more patient and he sits behind Callaway, he allows Callaway to make that block. He can cut him behind and he's running. Usually Spencer Peterson does that. He's done a good job in that offense. Right there, he was a little too aggressive, and it cost him.
A little too much bull and China shop action there from Peterson. 3rd and 4, and this is a big one here for the Thunder. From their own 23. If they can convert, they can extend and flip the field. Underneath, incomplete. It looked like the official might have gotten in the way of Roberts running his route, and that'll stop the clock. And most importantly, Wheaton will have to punt into the wind here with just 38 seconds left in the quarter.
Just not able to get anything going, really, any kind of consistency here. They're running their normal stuff, and right now the Titans are beating them at the point of attack.
Yeah, and it's almost like you'd like to see when Peterson comes into the game. There's no other play than him keeping it at this point. I mean, and Wesleyan knows that, and so you'd hope to see at some point during this game that wrinkle comes.
Fedler's punt. Oh, ball's out! Ball's out at midfield, and Wheaton's got the ball at the Titans' 48-yard line. Mitch Pfeiffer stepped up and into the hit right at it, and he is still down for the Titans.
He's hurt.
He took a shot as he caught that football.
And that is a huge swing.
That might be the break the Thunder needed here. Certainly changed field position here, and boy, he took a big hit.
Jake Colleen makes the hit. And it's Herbert who makes the recovery for the Thunder. That is a huge swing in the last minute of the 3rd quarter.
And what a weapon Jake Colleen is on special teams. When you consistently call a guy's name for being in on tackles and being in on, just what an unbelievable asset that is for a kid who's good enough to start, but because of the formations that Wheaton likes to run out of, he just isn't the guy that fits into the defense at this point.
Right.
And he's a guy as a linebacker that you're using on the gunner because you like his speed that much. 1st and 10 from the 48. McWilliams in the game. Shovel pass to Lindquist, and Illinois Wesleyan all over that one. No gain on the play, and that will likely bring it into the to the third quarter. Yeah, Wheaton will.
That's Krezikowski making a great play. The returning all-conference lineman just following behind those pulling linemen. They didn't get the back block that they're looking for, and he just followed Lindquist into the hole and tackled him as soon as he got it for no gain. If they got that back block, usually the center snaps that ball. The right side's pulling along with Lindquist to get up in front of that. The center's got to block back on that and get that guy coming down the line of scrimmage, and he missed the block, and he was able to make the play. Nice job by Krezikowski there.
I think these two interior defensive linemen and Justin Krakowski and Chance Hillard are probably the two best together tandem D tackles that we've seen so far. Carthage had a couple of guys up the middle that were pretty disruptive, but these two guys they're just great at reading blocks and playing assignment football, and because of that, they're causing a lot of problems for the interior line for Wheaton, and they're really the ones at the point of attack that are keeping guys off of the linebackers who were able to just flow downhill because they just don't have guys on them. They're just chewing up double teams and keeping guys off of them.
Thunder continue to win the time of possession, 25-55 to 19:05. The end of the third quarter stats. Thunder with 53 plays for 248 yards. They now have 74 yards rushing. A little bit better job in that third period. And in the passing game, McWilliams is 16 of 22 for 158. On the other side, Wesleyan 48 plays for 171 yards, 23 rushes for 53 yards. And Bauer is just 11 of 24 for 118. He's been intercepted once. He's been sacked 4 times now, including 2.5 times by Chase Greenlee.
So we will start the fourth quarter, 2nd and 10 from the Illinois Wesleyan 48. I'm Rusty Lindsay with Dan Studebaker and Doug Rothschild, joined on the field by Nate Stein here. Thanks for tuning in on WTSN. This has been a war. As McWilliams sits in the shotgun, he will play fake and face a 4-man rush. And he will go down all the way back at the 42. That's the defensive end, John Nolan, who just beat Drew Smith with a bull rush on that one, and it's going to be 3rd and long.
Yeah, they wanted to get something down the field, and they went off play action. And again, this Wesleyan front has been keeping the heat on. That's the 3rd sack of the day. Nolan just beat Drew Smith there on an outside rush and did a great job. Smith has got that cast on his right hand. He doesn't quite have the club he had. It's a little bit more nimble, but it still makes it a little tougher to block an athletic defensive end like John Nolan, who's 6'1", 225 senior, and he comes up with his 2nd sack of the season.
Just a really good pass rush move by Nolan to get by Drew Smith.
So 3rd and 20 now from the 42. Delay linebacker blitz. It's picked up. McWilliams going to drill this thing in. It's caught by Hanley at the 41-yard line. Wow. That was a bullet of a throw, and Hanley with a heck of an adjustment. And now you got to think about you're only 2-3 yards away from the mark. Offense is staying on the field here.
Well, if he punted it before, I would think he would punt it again.
Yeah, here comes Vargas.
Yeah, he is going to try to pin these guys again. It's against the wind and play field position. That's the right strategy. It's Coach Swider's philosophy. You got a good defense. At some point, you got to take your shot on that. But right now is not the time. You don't want to give Wesleyan field position. You want to make them use their plays to earn some field position if you can pin them deep.
So Fedler with time drops this ball end over end. It checks up at the 2, bounces backwards, and Herber is there along with Vargas. Boy, Fedler he's so good at that coffin corner. That was such a delicate bounce at the 2-yard line.
And it's such a difficult punt with the wind at your back to be able to create the spin and the control needed to be able to pin them back. And that is a huge momentum shift because now Wesleyan's got 95 yards to go into the wind, so that doesn't set up well for their passing situations.
Well, it certainly sets up well the way the Wheaton defense has been playing. They've done a good job against Bauer and against Healy, rolling that coverage to Healy's always got 2 guys on him. Bauer's been looking for him, and he's been sacked 4 times. So we'll see if that pressure starts to get to Bauer a little bit. It's just one play that can change the tide. They haven't been able to take advantage of the turnover they got off the punt. Let's see if they can do it with the field position.
We'll check in with Nate on the sideline after 1st down here. Bauer will play fake and stand in the end zone to throw. Bauer across the middle. middle. It's drilled in there to Kiefer on a nice pitch and catch. And again, the Titans off the shadow of the goalpost here. But Nate, it just feels like, and correct me if I'm wrong down on the sideline, but it feels like the team with the first big blow is going to all of a sudden steal the momentum in this game.
Yeah, I think you're right, Rusty. Whoever can actually break one and kind of string together any semblance of a drive is going to be the team that comes out on top here. It might even come down to whoever has the ball last in this game.
1st and 10 from the 17. Give to Alexander, who hurdles through the hole, gets out across the 20 to the 21-yard line, and that's a gain of 4. These two teams that have built their offenses on the ground have combined for just 125 yards rushing here today.
12:30 to go in the game. 7-7 game still. All the scoring in the first half. Titans deep in their own territory, trying to get out on a 2nd and 5 here.
As Bauer with Alexander on his left hip this time. They will walk Luke Smith down. Showed the jump there. Now a flag comes down. Bauer's going to be sacked. The question is it something where Wesleyan flinched? Because it looked like Wheaton maybe was unable to get back onside after the jump.
I think it was offsides.
It was. Wheaton unable to get back to the other side of the line of scrimmage, so the sack turns into a 2nd and 1 following the 5-yard penalty.
And that brings up a key down here on defense. You got to be smart. 2nd and 1. This is the type of place that an offense likes to take a chance off play action, knowing that they're going to come back with a 3rd and 1 and feeling like good about their chances. So they come out in a heavy run formation.
Twins to the left side. Now they'll shuffle both tight ends. That's Ryan and Emerson to the left side of the line. Alexander running to the left side, and Kennedy blows it up in the backfield.
That kid, he's just an unbelievable football player. I mean, to be able to just so confidently jump the block and be able to secure both legs and bring the guy down for a loss of 4 yards. And now, to your point, Doug, it's 2nd and 1. That's where they like to take a shot. They didn't, and now they're 3rd and 4.
He shot inside the block of Anthony Ryan. He just beat him across his face from a lineup of about 4 yards deep and got into the backfield, made a great play, setting up a tougher down and distance.
3rd and 5 from the 22. A big one for both teams here. Twins left, split right. Motion from the tight end out into the slot right. Play clock's at 7. Bauer looking to the right side, batted up and almost picked off.
It might have been.
It might have been
picked off. That's picked off.
Arifilis has the ball.
He picked it off. Unbelievable.
Solly tipped it to Marte Arifilis with a huge pick. And just like Nate was talking about, the first big play might have stolen this one.
Well, and again, that's why you play field position, because that play in the middle of the field with this defense is not as big of a play as it is deep in their territory. You pin them down deep. Coach Esch is an aggressive play caller. Of course you would be on 3rd and manageable. You'd expect your quarterback to be able to throw a slant. But that play is huge here because you're automatically now in field goal position.
Yeah, there on the replay, it was Arifilis. And a huge play. Again, Arifilis was a guy who was seeing some snaps early as a sophomore, and just the depth of this offensive line and the health of O'Connell kind of buried him in the depth chart. TJ Williams is going to be slot left. Look out here. He can burn. McWilliams looking to the left. Flag comes down. And
there was illegal motion. There were guys moving. That's going to be against the Thunder.
Flags come down from both sides of the line, so it's got to be a line penalty and pre-snap because they were down early. Pass was incomplete, intended for Tyler Pace, well behind him.
I mean, you just can't make mistakes in a big game like that in this situation when you have such a big opportunity and get yourself behind the chains.
Yeah, you have the opportunity right after a huge turnover in Wesleyan's territory to be able to really, put the first nail in the coffin. And just because the offense isn't on the same page, and you're moving backwards in and you're off schedule just to begin.
This game feels a lot like the game played here at McCullough Stadium between these two teams a couple of years ago. 13-7 victory for the Thunder there. 1st and 15 from the 25. Olateju on the misdirection behind Lindquist. Slow plays it towards the hole and then will get hit. And across the 25, he will get to the 24 for a gain of a yard.
Jordan Hassan with a good sure tackle again from that middle linebacker spot. Does a good job of just sliding off a block. A good job by Nolan bouncing that play back into him and brings him down with an arm tackle. Very tough to do. Great play by Hassan.
Peterson into the game now for the Thunder, joined with Olateju. 2nd and 14 from the 24. And the Titans will show blitz. The speed option to the right side. Peterson will keep it down to the 20. It's the right call there to take what you can get, but it's 3rd and 10 here. The important thing is for the Thunder, they continue to keep themselves within field goal range here. From 3rd and 10 on the 20, this would be a 37-yard attempt for Kinnair, who has missed from 37 already once today. That was going the other direction. Williams into the game, and he will be the pro back behind McWilliams, who drops under center. Hanley inside of Nichols to the high side. 3rd and 10, the Titans will squeeze the line with the linebackers. Stretch T.J. Williams to the left, behind Hibben. Williams across the 20, trying to get to the corner. He's not going to do it. Pushed out of bounds at probably about the 17-yard line, although we've known not to trust the spots today. Give him the 16 maybe, and here comes Stephen Kinnair with a big kick. And that's got to be a play call where you look at your kicker and say, where do you like it best? And he says he likes it from the left hash.
Well, and you like the T.J. Williams call there because he's just going to use his speed to the field to get to the corner, and he picked up that extra 5 yards and makes this a much more manageable field goal attempt.
Kinnair from 33. He is 6 of 8 on the year. Low snap picked up by Sandy, put down plenty of distance, and it is good for Stephen Kinnair. And that's a big one. And Wheaton will take its first lead of the day with 9:38 left here in the 4th quarter.
That is a big one. It puts pressure on the Titans, certainly to keep making plays. Now they've got to go get some points, and they have not been able to do that since the 1st quarter. And the Thunder defense has been putting the clamps on, and so it's going to come down to, again, guys being consistent, making plays down the stretch. You got a 9.5-minute ball game here with the Thunder now with a 3-point lead. Again, big plays here. You got to make sure you do your job on special teams, get this kick, pin them deep, and keep playing defense the way they're playing. I like the way the Thunder have been playing on defense. The Titans have been playing equally well on defense. So this could be a lead that holds up. It's going to be close.
And you have a real opportunity if you're Wheaton's defense to really just come out and make a statement and bury Wesleyan because now every possession matters. To Nate's point on the sideline, he said this could come down to the team that has the ball last, and it's definitely going to come down to who takes care of the ball best in these last couple of possessions.
Bo's kickoff is going to be caught 1 yard deep, moving to the right side of the 10 to the 15. Kennedy's out there. Actually, that's Jalen Goldsmith, 18, not 10, and forced him back in. Return made by Matt Curley, the junior wide receiver, who's back there because Quentin Walters was knocked out of the game on the opening kickoff of the second half.
So the Thunder take advantage of the tipped Bauer pass that resulted in an interception, putting him in field goal range. They run it, they get enough yards to convert on the field goal, take a 10-7 lead, and now the special teams have pinned the Titans inside the 20 again, where Bauer's going to have to go back to work, and we'll see what he looks for as Chase Greenlee comes onto the field late.
Very late. 1st and 10 from the 18. Bauer with Alexander in the backfield. Play fake. Bauer with all day to throw. He's going deep across the middle, and it is knocked down by Marcus Smith, who, if he keeps his feet moving, that's an interception for Smith.
And you're absolutely getting a holding penalty here. The flag came down on the line of scrimmage, and Chase Greenlee very wisely felt that he was getting held and tried to spin out of it, which exposed the offensive lineman's hand in the stretch of the jersey.
And that's going to be interesting to watch as we move forward. This will be a half the distance penalty, but when you've got all of a sudden you're playing from behind and you've got the big fella fella there who was triple covered, and Bauer just decided to try to force it into him anyhow. He's going to lead to another turnover most likely.
Well, I mean, you don't know. The big fella, the reason he's a big fella is because he can catch those balls too. So it did hit him pretty close to his hands. There was Marcus Smith was there, but Healy was there too. I don't like those plays in that situation. 6'5" wins over 5'9" most of the time. You do have some extra players there, so they have been double covering them. But even in that situation, as you see, you watch the NFL a lot, they throw to the big dogs even when they're double covered.
1st and 19 following the hold back at their own 9. And this will be Alexander into the line. He will get to the 10, maybe the 11. Get a couple of yards back. A quick look around the conference. Final minute of the game, and it looks like Augustana is going to get their first win of the year over at Langhorst Field. They lead Elmhurst 24-13 with 20 seconds left. North Central 36-17 in the fourth quarter over WashU. Carthage 55-12 in the fourth quarter over Carroll. Milliken 30-13 in the fourth quarter over North Park. Wheaton will head down to face the Big Blue next week, and the Big Blue look like they're going to be 3-1 heading into that matchup. 2nd and 16 from the 12. Again, it's Alexander looking for room to run, and there's not much there. Maybe a yard again, but a big 3rd and long here, as the Titans are going to need to come up with something punting into the wind from deep in their own territory.
Well, in this case, the Titans have fired a lot of their bullets and still have 7 points in this game. So, you know, when you're down here this deep, you can attack this defense, but last time you did, it resulted in a turnover that put you at this point. So I think you're going to, I mean, who knows what Coach Esch is going to do. He's going to take his shot at some point in the game.
3rd and 6, 3rd and 14 here. Greenlee almost offsides. They're going to set up the bubble screen. It's complete and brought down from behind. That was a nice job by the corner Fox of trailing that around the block and staying with it. Sets up 4th and long here for the Titans. They only got 5 yards there.
Very, very fortunate that Chase Greenlee got back across the line of scrimmages. That was right at the right time. I mean, you're starting to see that Wheaton's going to take this ball back, and it's up to Nichols now as they go into a safe punt. It's up to Nichols and Kennedy back here to make sure that they just catch this ball, and then Jesse Scott look to just milk the clock and try to get this game over with.
Good snap. Baird's punt. They check up on the return. Baird's punt angling to the near sideline.
Yeah, move.
Yeah, Caden Sigler will quickly get out of the way there. Will be put down right at just shy of midfield, the Wheaton side of midfield.
You'll take that. A midfield possession here. You got a half a field to try to go get something else. If the Thunder can do that, they can take pretty solid control of this game the way their defense is playing. So credit Coach Swider for the decisions he's made. A lot of coaches will be very aggressive on the other team's side of the 50 on 4th downs, and he's taken those yardages and pinned Wesleyan deep, and it's resulted in field position in this second half, and certainly the conversion of that field goal. So good conservative play calling and good credit to your defense to make plays.
Olateju, the lone back in the backfield, 1st and 10 from the 49. They will move him to the right side, and that is blown up in the backfield by that's Kraszewski.
Another great play. I mean, those 2 defensive tackles have been all over the field.
Just completely dominant as you watch the replay here. I mean, he slants hard, beats the reach, and he just slants right into the play.
Yeah, coming
completely dominant.
Right inside of Braden Parker.
I mean, you're talking a 6-yard loss on a zone.
But again, those precious seconds ticking down here. Both teams with all 3 timeouts, and Wheaton taking their time getting the play call in. Not even signaling from the sideline until there's 15 on the clock. Twins to the left side, 2nd and 15. Again, it's Olateju. He's got room up the middle, just shy of the original line of scrimmage, so it'll be 3rd and 11 from their own 48-yard line.
And that's that tight end trap that they ran earlier that Wesleyan blew up in the first half. Chance Hilliard made the play there, and this time they get the block. And so, but again, those linebackers are there, great tacklers, and they're not giving ground. They attack the line of scrimmage, and they gave them, that's a successful play, and you have 4.5 yards.
Olateju's got 18 carries for 61 yards, so that's his net. He's gained 72. Coming into today, he'd only had 14 yards of lost rushes this year. He's got 11 here today. 3rd and 12 from the 47, 5:40 to play. Wheaton clinging to a 10-7 lead. They will need the Illinois Wesleyan 41. McWilliams with time, sidesteps, dances out of the pocket, trying to throw. Comeback route to Lindquist, who is open at the 38-yard line. Great job by McWilliams, better job by Lindquist.
Yeah, good job by McWilliams to buy time. That's not something he usually likes to sit in that pocket, and getting outside the pocket is not something he has done very well. But here he did it, and Olateju got a good block on Wilkie to spring him, and then a good job coming back inside. They signaled each other, and Lindquist said he was going to come back across, and did a good job to pick up the first.
Yeah, a great presence from McWilliams. He had traffic around his feet, felt it, stepped up out of the pressure, and then finds Lindquist, who beats Nico Gabanko.
Yeah, they're gonna get.
I mean, Andrew Smith did jump, but the defensive lineman drew him off.
Yep.
You can't allow the defensive lineman to do that and then call the penalty on the offensive line. That should be encroachment in the neutral zone.
Yeah, that should be Eric Dubose called for encroachment because he incited the false start.
Yeah, Mike Swider beside himself here on the Thunder sideline. Yeah, and they're going to get the encroachment.
Yeah, great call.
Great job by the officials, and it looked like
They did a good job.
It looked like it was the line judge who came over from the near side, stating that it was indeed DeBose who drew him off.
You got to give the officials credit there. They made a few mistakes in this game. They did a good job conferring and getting that call right.
I'd like to see that more in the game of football. Where referees, when you have 5 eyes, 5 sets of eyes watching every play, and when you get together and talk about it, you typically come out with the right play because 2 are better than 1.
Now this is a situation where a field goal doesn't get you much other than
forcing them to score a touchdown.
Right.
1st and 5 now from the 33, and they get to run some more seconds off the clock. Olateju tiptoeing towards the hole, and a great play by Hassan coming downhill into the hole.
And that's not a surprise. You watch the film on these guys. That's what these linebackers do. So if anyone's surprised that Hassan is at the snap attacking the line of scrimmage, then shame on them, because if you got to get your eyes up. If you're going to chip off to that guy, you got to be ready to block him at the snap. And if you're not ready to block him at the snap, he's going to make those plays. So that's just not good recognition by the offensive line, and great play by Hassan. It's what he's been doing all season.
2nd and 8 from the 36 after a loss of 3. McWilliams going to that hard count again as they've got an aggressive defensive line here for the Titans, trying to get it into the backfield. Snap it at 1. Give to Olateju, running the right side. He's got the edge. Olateju 35, steps inside of the 33, and thrown out of bounds. And it will depend on the spot, but it looks like...
I think they might go. I would go Spencer Peterson package here.
Well, here comes TJ, so it looks like they're going to go two running backs.
That looks like you're going to have the...
Even though he's not running the slot, which was the first assumption. So
I wouldn't be surprised to see him shift out to the slot and see some sort of end around here.
Well, he's lined up. They're almost lined up as a power look here on the left side of McWilliams.
Well, and Weston's got what's effectively an 8-man front on defense, so they're playing the run.
Jam coverage on the corners. High snap given to Olateju, who is stacked up hard by Josh Aiken, along with Hassan. Loss of a yard, and it's a little surprising Illinois Wesleyan keeping that timeout in their pocket here.
I mean,
Wheaton's going to get another 40 seconds off.
Well, Wheaton's going to call timeout, I would think. They're going to let the clock run and make either Coach Ash burn a timeout or...
Here comes the timeout.
He did.
Yeah, if I'm Wheaton, given where we're at now, I think you take the delay of game penalty and give Fedler 5 extra yards for the coffin punt, as good as he's been this afternoon.
Yeah, they will not be trying to field goal here. They're either going to go for it or punt it. I think that's what they're debating right now.
4th and 7 from the 35 awaits.
I mean, Doug, you were talking a little bit ago. If you're Wheaton's defense, you haven't given up any sort of big plays so far, except for that that big run. But when you've got a guy with the athleticism of Bauer and the height and athleticism of Healy, I mean, all you got to do is get one.
Right.
All you got to do is connect on one, and Normesh is gonna go for him. He's gonna go. He's an aggressive guy, and he's going to start taking those shots because he has to. It's out of desperation now, so he has to. And you just don't want to put that on your defense's shoulders. They've been sort of carrying the day so far. But you need a big play here.
The other strategy you could do is come out in a big tight end, a double tight package, and Sholo Olateju back and try to draw them off sides. And try to get them jumping, see if you can get 5 extra yards. All that does is get you the same decision 5 yards closer. And it's not going to put you in field goal range effectively. So
they come out with the offense.
And they have the 2 tight ends set here.
4th and 7 from the 35-yard line.
You can probably expect man coverage with some pressure.
Under center goes McWilliams. Corners are about 7 yards off here. They sit right at the first down marker. Play clock at 10 as McWilliams checks down, comes back to the line. Double tight look. Olateju has loaned back.
They're trying to draw him off.
They may not run a play here.
I think they're
They're going to take the delay of game.
Yeah, I think you take the flag here. Yep, take the flag, give Zach Fedler 5 more yards to work with because he has been excellent in these situations today. And if you want to play the game in your Illinois Wesleyan, you can decline the penalty if you'd like.
Now, the difference in this type of situation, you're going to pin them deep, but what you're going to give the Wesleyan offense is an absolute 4-down territory the whole way at this point in the game. So every 3rd down is not like a 3rd down. It's more like a 2nd down because they're going to go for it on 4. So the play calling is going to be a little bit different. And there's enough time, and they still have 2 of their timeouts left, that they're going to be able to run their offense, which is going to include a lot of kind of dinks and things like that. So it's going to be an interesting strategy on the play calling here and how they manage the clock down the stretch.
Augie has held off Elmhurst. Elmhurst with a late touchdown, 24-19. The Vikings are in the win column. Both teams now 1-4. Heavy rush after this one for the Titans. He doesn't quite get all of this one. The wind's going to push it down to the 14 where the fair catch is made.
And you're going to let your defense go win this for you. And Coach Esch has got his playmaking quarterback. He's going to have him go win it for him. So we'll see who comes up with what. This is going to be a great show down the stretch. 2:33 to go, 10-7 game Thunder. The Titans have 86 yards to go.
Carthage will finish off Carroll 55-12. Milliken has doubled up North Park 30-15. There's still 5 minutes to play in that game out of Foster and Kedzie.
Keep in mind, Tata has taken over the field goal duties. He is 2 of 2 on the year. 1 of those is 30-39 yards.
Give is to Alexander on first down. Not much there. Eric Stevenson mirroring him down the line, holds him to maybe a yard. And again, for Illinois Wesleyan, that's a surprising start, even though you're just hoping for, I guess, some positive momentum. Quickly to the no huddle. Trips right, split left. Left is Healy. He's had 2 catches today. Flag comes down, and we've got a dead play. False start against the Titans.
Not a good start if you're a Titan fan. You get a rush for 2 yards and then a 5-yard false start penalty. 2:10 to go in the game. You're deep in your own territory at your own 10-yard line.
You're just giving the ability to these very, very good pass rushers from Wheaton to be able to widen out a bit, pin their ears back, and just get after the quarterback. And you're creating a mismatch, not with the bodies, but with the where you're able to line up.
Bauer steps back, short drop, stands over the middle, delivers a bullet. It's completed to Kiefer, who has spun down at the 33-yard line. Ball drilled in there by Bauer. Now 14 of 28 at 50%, 2 picks and 155 yards passing.
Great throw there. Stepped right in the pocket amidst the rush and delivered it on time.
Inside of 2 minutes to go. 1st and 10 for the Titans. 4-man rush for the Thunder. Bauer climbs the pocket. He's going to escape, and he's got a blocker. That's Alexander ahead of him, and he is hit hard right near the first down, and he might have another one. Keep in mind, Illinois Wesleyan working against the wind, and Doug just mentioned they've got a new place-kicking operation in place. So they're going to have to really drive this thing down deep into the Thunder territory to think field goal. 1st and 10 from the 44. Bauer's looking left. He's got 2 wide receivers, and it's through the hands and off the numbers of Kiefer.
And he's been very, very sure-handed today, so a surprising drop there with nobody on him in the flat.
Okay, with the double coverage, it's been all over Healy today. They've been going to Kiefer again and again. He's delivered the whole game, and that's his first drop. It's an unfortunate timing for him, but he's been a player. He caught that last one over the middle and took a big hit to get him out to this point. So they got more opportunities here. Minute 37 to go, 10-7 game. Wesleyan trying to get into field goal range for the young Tata.
Wheaton fans rising to their feet. Full house making some noise for the Thunder. 4 wide receivers. They're split 2 and 2. Wheaton brings pressure off the edge. Completed right just shy of the first down to 89. That's Brian Johnson, and Bauer took a shot on that pass. 3rd and a yard coming up here for the Titans.
And that was a very, very, very veteran play by the young Bauer to be able to stand in the face of very present danger and deliver a pass. A bullet.
3rd and a yard. Bauer looking to the right side. Quick slant. It's dropped.
Wow.
That's huge.
That's a big drop there by Walsh. Been a sure-handed receiver as well. 2 drops on this drive by the Titans. Pulls up a huge 4th down and 1 with 1:12 to go in the game.
And everybody on their feet on the near side. And
2 timeouts left for the Titans, but they got to get a yard to keep the game alive for them.
Trips left, split right. Ball game could be on the line. 4th and a yard. Give us to Alexander. He breaks out, and he could have a big one inside the 40 down to the Thunder 36-yard line. Titans are able to move the chains on a big one. 1:05 left. They keep both timeouts in their pocket. Big run for Alexander.
Big call to make a running play in that situation.
1st and 10 from the 35. Play fake off Alexander. Pressure on his back, and he completes to the sideline. Johnson drags the foot, and that should be about a 6-yard completion of the 29.
And that's going to be pretty close to field goal range. Still a long field goal, especially into the wind for Tata. Assuming that's the one they're going to cover. Remember, they still have the senior.
Schiarini, we were told prior to the game that Schiarini had been replaced. So expect that to be Tata.
But he has hit a 40 to 49-yard field goal in his career, and he is a senior. So replaced means replaced until you're not. The question is going to be whether you have a senior or a sophomore attempt to kick if it comes down to that.
Trips left, split right. 2nd and 4 from the 29. 53 seconds to play. They're going to swing it out into the flat. Alexander's got traffic coming. Great tackle made at the point of attack.
And yeah, you're going to see Normesh take a timeout here as he was unable to get to the boundary. And now, if you're Wesleyan, you need to start running your plays towards the outside part of the field in order to get the clock stoppage as you've just burned your 2nd of 3 timeouts.
Well, one of the things, Kiefer's been a good player for them, so one thing I'd be thinking about is run Healy to a formation of trips to the field. See if you can get single coverage on Healy down to the boundary and have him beat somebody on a slant or an out route to get the first down. That's what you're looking for. You're really looking for, a 7-8 yard completion here. Yep. The other one is across the middle, some sort of drag route through the zones. Somebody sitting down in a zone. In the hook curl zone area for Wesleyan. So those are the kind of things they're looking for Bauer. He throws those routes pretty well. The kind of 5 to 15 yard routes are routes that they feel pretty comfortable with, and he does a good job with. If you're the Thunder, you don't change. You got to keep everybody in front of you and come up and tackle them and break on the ball. And you're telling your front, get pressure on the quarterback. So and the pressure on the quarterback, Greenlee and Hoover are going to get back there. The big thing you want to watch is these 2 defensive tackles have to collapse that pocket so that there's not an escape route for Bauer.
Yeah, you just can't get too. It's a fine line that you walk because you can't get too far upfield, and you have to play with your eyes in the backfield. You just have to get push up the middle.
Screen here too.
Bauer looking to the right side. Quick slant. It's completed. Kennedy tried to jump it. Couldn't quite get there in time. And again, it's Brian Johnson who is the intended receiver and the completed receiver. 1st and 10 inside the 20 to the 19. Clock runs inside of 40 seconds. Bauer looking to the right again. Completed again to Johnson. He's not going to get out of bounds. Wrapped down at the 14-yard line. 30 seconds left and running. Again, the Titans have 1 timeout left, and they're taking their time getting this one in. 20 seconds left. It might be this play or a field goal attempt. Down to 15 at the snap. Give us to Alexander. Up the middle. Nowhere to go. Brought down at the 12-yard line, and Normesh calls timeout with 11 seconds left.
Yeah, and you wonder, do you take a shot at the end? You take 1 shot to the end zone, and if you don't get it, kick the field goal and get the tie.
I would think that's going to be the game plan. You take a shot at the end zone. You tell your quarterback, well, here's what we're going to run. They're going to run 4 verticals or some version of that and see if they can get and pick the matchup that they want against that. And you're going to tell them, our guy catches it or we're kicking a field goal.
Yeah, the ball's got to be in or out of the end zone. It can't be short of it.
And the question here, do you bring pressure and play man, which I don't think the Thunder want to do here with a guy like Healy unless you can double him. But even then, you're going to get matchups with Kiefer and other ones that you might like man-to-man. The other thing you do is play zone here and keep everything in front of you. You know they're already in field goal range. The only thing that hurts you here is a touchdown. So if you play zone and keep everything in front of you, keep your safeties deep, then you break on the ball. You have all the DBs are watching the quarterback there, and they can come up and break on the ball.
Brian Johnson has seemingly come out of nowhere to be the guy that he's looked to the most on this drive. I believe he's got 3 catches on this drive. He's got 5 for 36 today. Again, their leading touchdown threat is Healy with 3. We would be looking at Andrew Appel, the tight end, but he went down with an injury early on in this game. Big one here. 3rd and 3, ball on the Wheaton 12, 11 seconds left. Titans trailing 10-7. Bunch set of wide receivers to the left side. Single right. Bauer's looking left. Pressure comes up the middle. Down he goes! Back at the 22. They're out of timeouts, and that could be the ball game.
Unbelievable.
Oh
no.
Gosh.
Wheaton called a timeout prior to the play. Oh, no.
Wow. Okay. They're going to bring pressure. They got to him.
That was it. That was the game.
There's no timeouts. They would not have been able to run another play. And instead, the Thunder call timeout.
Somebody tell me somebody's holding Dallas McRae's helmet because he is jogging down the sideline here, looking like he wants to almost try to get in the game.
Well, it is good to see the big man out there running around.
Boy, that was the game right there.
I mean, I think we're all just at a bit of a loss for words because it's just like that. I mean, obviously they saw a matchup that they didn't like. They didn't like what they had previously called, but when you're right, you hate being wrong.
Hey, look, this is a great ball game. Whatever happens here, a lot of credit to Illinois Wesleyan for their plan and their grit here to come down the field against this defense when they haven't been able to get much all game and put themselves in a position right here. Suffice to say, they probably have a different play call right here.
And they got a different formation call. Trips left. They've got Healy in the middle. They're trying to get a matchup on the slot guy. 3rd and 3 again. 11 seconds left. Bauer looking to the right side. They're going for the end zone. It's flags down. They've got a catch. That's an Illinois Wesleyan touchdown. Touchdown Titans with 6 seconds left.
This is going to be on Wheaton's secondary, right?
Most likely.
Almost has to be.
Again, you're in a position now where I think that's going to count.
Defensive holding was the call. They'll obviously decline it. Touchdown Titans with 6 seconds left.
Great job by Wesleyan there. Again, we've said it all along. You don't want to give Bauer a chance to make a play at the end of a game against single coverage in that kind of situation. And that's exactly the situation the Thunder found themselves in. Look, they had their best cover guy who's left on the field in Fox covering the receiver out there, and the guy made a play. Made a great play, actually.
And an outstanding throw.
So credit the Titans for the grit in this game, to stay in there, to stay tough. Bauer does not played well today, but he made plays down the stretch that they needed to play. He hasn't played well. He's been inconsistent. But, boy, when they needed him, the 2 touchdown drives, he played about as well as you can play. So fantastic job by the Titans. And,
you'll see it on the replay. Just hand fighting the whole. That's an outstanding
one-handed catch. Back shoulder one-handed catch by Walsh.
Zach Walsh, his first touchdown of the season.
And that's the position they were in afforded them to take that shot, because they were going to take that shot to the end zone knowing they're going to come back and kick the field goal if it's incomplete. Yep. So they're going to run in the end zone, which is why I really don't like man-to-man in that situation. I would much prefer a zone with safeties over the top.
Yep.
And then you guys are all looking back into the quarterback, and you have a much better chance to break on the ball. Man-to-man, there's just too much. There's too much that can go wrong, or guys can make a play, and they did. Credit them. They made the play when they needed to.
6 seconds left, Wheaton with 2 timeouts, and the biggest part of the extra point was that Wheaton's now going to have to put the ball in the end zone. Again, Wesleyan has come out in this bunch set each time, and now they will spread themselves out. And Tata will walk this one off. This ball has to be driven on the ground just to force a return if you're the Titans.
Well, is it disappointing what's going to end up as a probable loss for the Thunder here, and just the losses that they've had from an injury perspective, and everything else is put them in a bad spot. But credit Wesleyan, they've come back here and done a great job to win this game.
I mean, this wholly changes now the CCIW. I mean, this comes down to Wheaton will be now. They will have to beat NCC to have a share of the CCIW title. And if IWU wins out, which is very likely at this point because the most difficult matchups are behind them.
Well, they have to play Carthage.
They have to play Carthage, but I mean, you're talking about they've played North Central, they've played Wheaton, played both of them tough, got to win against one of them.
They're going to roll a second off the clock here. The clock never moved. They're going to roll 2 seconds off the clock here.
So now Wheaton's going to be forced to win out, and if IWU wins out, you think you've got 3 teams in the CCIW that finished 9-1, and it's going to come down to, once again, who's going to get that Pool C bid, who has the most convincing wins. Where are you at with your playoff points? I mean, it's
this one's going to hurt.
Season-defining win for Wesleyan, and season-defining loss for Wheaton so far.
This one's going to hurt a lot more because you had a beat and the timeout was called. You had the emotion of the game being over with the sack, only have Wesleyan come back and score the touchdown. And Wheaton's going to call a timeout just to make sure they wanted to see what Wesleyan lined up as. It's no surprise Wesleyan's going to drop 4 guys all the way back here. And they ran 2 seconds off the clock, so it's not like Wheaton can run a quick out and just move this ball just enough to try to open up the Hail Mary. So expect a whole lot of, this ball could go anywhere here. Linemen better be ready for a touch at some point on this play. They will just bring 3. Safeties are sitting all the way back, 2 of them at least. Now the third one drops back all the way to the 30.
I wouldn't even put my corners where they are. I'd put everybody farther back.
Yeah, put 5 guys back there for the Titans. Last play of the game, last chance for the Thunder. Mick Williams drills it to Roberts, gets it to Olateju. Ball's fumbled, and that's going to be the ball game. The Titans have come in and ruined homecoming at McCulley Stadium, and they have handed the first loss of the year to the number 4 ranked Thunder in an outstanding football game here this afternoon.
Credit the Titans. They came in with a great game plan. They have an aggressive defense. They played aggressively. They limited the Thunder. Both teams lost players. Both teams had their opportunities, and at the end of the day, Wesleyan made the plays they needed to make. Brandon Bauer took his offense down the length of the field against one of the top defenses in the country and made the play at the end that he needed to make to win the game. and so you got to give them credit. It's unfortunate the Thunder lost some of these players. We hope some of these guys get better. We're looking for Dallas McCray to come back. Stone Watson, we wish him the best, who's going around on crutches right now. Some of these other guys, a couple of these guys, they might get back for next week. They'll be down in Decatur to play Milliken. It's going to be a bounce back. They still have their goals ahead of them and what they want to do. So the Thunder got to regroup, get focused, and come out ready to go next week.
Yeah, that's against a Milliken team that's good. That's playing well above where we would expected them. They're 3-1 on the year. That's taking care of North Park, so that's going to be no cookie down in Decatur. And the Titans have all of a sudden put themselves in great position for the postseason and a possible shot at the CCIW title. The irony being, in 2 weeks they're going to be rooting for the Thunder against North Central, and this one's going to hurt for a while.
Yeah, it sure is, and there's nowhere to look. You had a team that came in here, a good top 20 team that came in here and played well on your field, and you didn't make enough plays. You didn't have all your guys, and they didn't have all their guys. Appel was down, and maybe you had. I know there's six of their top special teams guys were out in this game. 4 of their top 5 defensive backs were not playing. There's a lot of reasons, but at the end of the day, you had enough guys on the field to win, and the other team played better, and there's nowhere else to look but yourself, and you got to try to get better. And you have a chance to learn from this, to come back and bounce back and play the rest of your season. We got an upcoming Milliken team down at their place next week in Decatur. It's going to be a tough road trip, and then you come back at home for the Bell game at night in 2 weeks for a game that's going to count for a lot.
Yeah, there's no more playing with house money when it comes to the Bell game. That is your season on the line.
Listen, it's very rare for a team to go through a season 10-0. It hasn't happened in the CCIW a whole lot of times, and it's very. Wheaton just has to, as Doug mentioned, they just have to respond to this loss. You rarely learn from your wins; you learn more from your losses. So they have to look in the mirror on this one, because this was a game that Wheaton just didn't play as well as Wesleyan did, and you just have to go 9-1 and get the win now.
6 o'clock kickoff down in Decatur next weekend. We will have the Swider Insider coming your way roughly around 5:35 there from Frank Lindsay Field. And again, this is the first of a triple header of action here on WTSN. The Wheaton women's soccer team kicking off against North Park in about 30 minutes over at Joe Bean Stadium, followed by the Wheaton men's soccer team with a 7 o'clock kickoff also against North Park over there at Joe Bean Stadium. Stay tuned for that as we continue a busy homecoming Saturday here at Wheaton College. For Doug Rothschild, Dan Studebaker, Nate Stein on the field, I'm Rusty Lindsay. Thanks for tuning in this weekend as Wheaton falls to Illinois Wesleyan 14-10 here at McCulley Stadium. Thanks for tuning in here on WTSN.